You're listening to the Tumbling Saber Podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Check us out on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com, on iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter, and take your first step into a larger world. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is it, guys. This is it. It's the final rundown until The Last Jedi. This is episode 105 of the Tumbling Saber Podcast. I am Kyle.
I am Corey.
And I'm James.
And we're all on pins and needles. We're all slowly dying a little bit inside here for the drop of this movie. This megaton bomb that is going to just seismically shift fandom in days to come. God, 2 days when we drop this pod. That's how long we have to wait. It's coming fast and furious, but I think so far it's been pretty easy for me. Ever since Saturday and the world premiere, the red carpet premiere, it's been a tough slog. I mean, that's 24 hours ago, but my brain is consumed. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm kind of on that wavelength as well, just because, I mean, what was it? Late last week, everyone was talking about spoilers going around and all that, and, you know, like, I've seen enough. I don't want to really see anything spoilery, so I've kind of gone a bit dark, and since then, it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm still on social media, but I'm really treading carefully, and I don't know, it's just...
Well, that's the thing. I don't know that you can tread carefully. I think it's either you're in or you're out. Like, it's tough, because something can just pop into your feed, and you didn't ask for it. It just showed up, and you can't unsee or unread. It's tough, man.
Yep.
That's happened to me at the last two Star Wars movies.
You're talking TFA and Rogue One?
No. I mean the last two saga movies, I should say. It happened this week, and it happened episode 7 as well. I was scrolling along on Twitter, and someone posted like, "Can't wait for the new movie. Shame Han's going to get killed by his son or sons." And I was like, "What? Oh, why did I read? Oh God, unlearn. Too late." I was like, "Don't be true," but it felt true. And then I was watching the movie the whole time, sort of thinking like, "Man, that kid's gonna kill his dad at some point," and then it happened.
Yeah, well, I had suspected that from the get-go. You know, just thinking about what's the best, and knowing that Harrison Ford would only come back for this movie, or not knowing it, but being very strongly of that opinion. Like, what's the fitting way for Han Solo to go out? It's going to be to die at the hands of his son, who had turned dark. And yeah, as we went along, we got sort of confirmation of that. But yeah, it really sucked. Remember that dude who was driving around with that written across his back windshield?
Yeah, I heard about that.
What an a-hole. Like, you have to have a certain level of...
What was that guy's name? Ken Bartman? No.
Is that Mike Bartman? Steve Bartman.
Steve Bartman.
Oh,
no, that's different a-hole. I'm just kidding. That guy apparently is a super nice guy.
You know, if we have any Chicago listeners, I don't know, but I think we may have just sent them into seizures. Sorry. No, they're okay now. I think Bartman's been forgiven. I think officially been pardoned.
I don't think he has, but
no, since they won in 2016, that's kind of like it's all good now.
Yeah?
Yeah. They kind of they've let it all go. The curse is over.
He's come out of hiding?
Yeah, no, he had to get out of Chicago and everything.
Yeah, I know. We laugh, but it wasn't funny at all for that guy.
No, his life took a real serious left turn for the worse. Where were we? What were we talking about? Spoilers, yeah, and avoiding them. Yeah, it's either you're in social media or you're off social media. It's tough to have your cake and eat it too, especially at this point now that the movie is out there and people have seen it. It's, you know, you're one bad click away from seeing a screen cap that you do not want to see.
But
you are right about that.
Just pardon my language for a second, but that's bullshit, man. People that do that, like, come on. Like, there should be forums saying, here it is. Like, if you really want to come see it, it's in here. You know, like, don't just posting something so blatantly because, well, frankly, I'll say something like, I saw something this week, and then I was talking to a friend of mine about it who was actually coming to the movies with us, And I was telling him about it, and then he told me, he's like, "Oh, I saw that in a TV spot this week." And I was like, "Really?" Because I avoided the last TV spot. And anyway, whatever. It was what it was, but I'm still kind of freaking out about it, and something I really would have rather not seen. But
that happened to me at a party tonight, Corey. My brother's like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "What?"
And you're like, "You're the worst. You're worse than Corey."
I was like, "No," I said, you should hang out with Corey. You're almost as bad as he is. But yeah, he just blurted it out like as if I would know, because he knows I have this podcast. And yeah, now I know. God. But I think we should point out at this point, there's like a widely known international sign for if you have gone dark and you're staying off social media, you're supposed to whisper so that everybody knows.
That's true. Dark times.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's kind of weird now. Like, now we're entering that kind of surreal stage, you know what I mean? Where, like, honestly, like, I mean, there's other reasons behind that, but I've had some restless sleep lately. And I know this has something to do with it as well.
I'm still sleeping as badly as ever, so I don't know that this is the Last Jedi is impacting that at all. But you know what's weird is that I've been telling anybody who would listen, going back a couple weeks ago, I think I mentioned it to Tim, and I mentioned it on the TSW roundtable. I don't have a blackout a spoiler policy. I'll just, I see which way the wind is blowing, and officially released stuff, I'll look at that, no problem. I'll look at as much as you want to give to me if it's officially sanctioned stuff. I have done a complete about face in the last, 72, 96 hours, something like that. In the last 4 or 5 days, I've just been like, nope, I'm out of here. And I've not seen any of the new TV spots. It's just anything new. I've kind of just stayed away. There was a group that Mark at TSW had created, a safe place to discuss TLJ spoilers. I was part of it, and I just I gotta bail out of this for at least one more week.
Well, spoiler alert: Luke is cranky in this movie.
Cranky old man Luke. Oh God, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I was talking with Steve before, Steve from San Diego Sabres. Like this week, the productivity is going to be at a complete all-time low.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see some stats across that, like actual stats. Because, yeah, my mind's definitely going to be preoccupied.
I don't know if, as big as Star Wars is for us, I don't know that it moves the needle that much across society that you can measure a dip in productivity. Like you can measure the Super
Halo
Bowl flu, right?
The Halo flu, there was that too. Comparable.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I believe in the happiness effect. If anything, the productivity should go up because everybody's going to be a little bit happier this week.
Oh, I'm going to be giddy this week for sure. Full of pins and, like I said before, pins and needles, just on nerves. Man,
Are you so sure about that? Because from what I've heard, lucky us, the temperature is going to be dropping to all-time lows for this season, along with lovely 1.5 foot of snow.
We're getting like no, not 1.5 feet.
No, sorry,
I heard 20 centimeters.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're getting a foot of snow. Big deal. And it's coming
for
2
American
days before
friends,
the Last Jedi.
That's not so bad.
We're fine. We're going to be fine. We saw our friends in the UK struggling with a dusting over there, which I can understand. If you don't have snow tires and you're not prepared, it can create quite the mess. But I think Carlos gave us a heads up last week because we've been sort of unnaturally preoccupied with the temperature the day we go see a Star Wars movie. Why is it that Thursday is always ridiculously cold? Surely it's not going to happen again for a third year in a row. Oh yes, it is. So here's the rundown. Monday, -9, pretty cold. Tuesday, -4, that's not too bad. Wednesday's back to -9. Thursday, -13. Come on. That's not for you guys. For you guys in the US, that is 9 degrees Fahrenheit. That is cold.
That's not including the wind chill factor, probably.
Well, that's going to make it feel like -6 Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
-21 Celsius with the wind. So it's going to be just as cold as last year for Rogue One, where I thought my brain was going to shrink and like fall out of my mouth. unbelievable. And the next day goes back up to -9, -6 for Saturday, -3 for Sunday. So yeah, just that third Star Wars Thursday is just an absolutely freezing night.
It's a lot in life.
I guess so, man.
All we really have to do, though, is walk across a parking lot. I mean, it's not that bad.
It's just the sitting in the car after at like 1 a.m. That's kind of brutal.
You should get an automatic car starter.
That would be nice.
So you know what this is?
No, I can't actually. I have a manual.
You can. It's just a lot more expensive.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. You know, we're 10 minutes in here, and we haven't really spoken about anything, and you know why that is? Because we have no show notes, and we're trying to fill up a podcast here. Nobody's laughing.
This is the last. That's it. I looked at the show notes. We did have some, but I mean, it's nothing like super grandiose building up to The Last Jedi. But I feel it important that we do get our excitement levels up there, and you know.
Oh yeah, we're going to do that tonight. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So this, guys, I'm intending to keep almost totally spoiler free. We're not talking about any of the new TV spots. Really, none of the news that has come out. We will get to a couple of pieces from the press tour, but really, there's no plot stuff here. So I'm intending this to be, completely safe for anybody who's trying to stay dark. My hope is that by the end of this episode, you don't know any more about The Last Jedi than you did coming in, but yet you still got a nice dose of Star Wars talk to help you get to Thursday. So that's the deal. That's how we're trying to attack this podcast. And then for next week, the idea is, and I mentioned this in my email to the powerful friends attached to Worthy of Recognition, for episode 106, what I want is for as many of you guys as possible or who want to do it, send us a voicemail with your knee-jerk thoughts to The Last Jedi. So once you get home or once you get into your car, grab your phone, just spit into that mic. Just tell us how blown your mind is or isn't. Tell us what was fantastic for you, what worked, what didn't.
All hands free.
Yeah, safety first, guys. Yeah, but no, we don't need questions for episode 106. That's going to be our The Last Jedi review episode. It will be spoiler filled, and it's going to be all hands on deck here at Tumbling Saber. We're going to be talking nothing but the movie for as long as it takes. But it's going
to be like a submarine under red alert as soon as The Last Jedi is done to prepare show notes and stuff, man.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, yeah, I'll have seen it twice. I think you guys are going to have seen it once before we get to recording. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to go real deep on some stuff, I think.
You don't know, man. You don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, but we're going to do our best, and we're going to talk about The Last Jedi in all its spoiler-filled glory for as long as we need to. But Tumbling Saber is not Tumbling Saber without you guys, the powerful friends, etc. So like I said, instead of your questions, just give us your 30-second thoughts or 60-second thoughts or 2 minutes thoughts. Just get your thoughts over to us. We want to hear from you for episode 106. Let's have a
both
huge The Last Jedi party on the podcast.
Questions and reviews.
I guess if you have questions about the movie, send them over to us. That's fine. But you might need a couple viewings before you really start asking questions. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But send us your voicemails pertaining to The Last Jedi, your thoughts and questions if you are so compelled. All right, a couple notes about Tumbling Saber Industries, as it were. So I created a Facebook group. I figured that I was thinking that the Facebook page sucks. There's no traction there. You guys aren't able to post stuff up in there, at least not to the extent that would help really generate much conversation. So we now have a public-facing Facebook group. So feel free to come hang out there. And for the next week, obviously, let's keep spoilers out of it. But anything else is free game. So go in, hop in there, start throwing stuff at the walls, and we'll have some more fun there. And secondly, also pretty cool news. I'm happy about this. You can now find Tumbling Saber Podcast on Spotify. I adore Spotify. I love it enough to pay for a membership. and when I saw the door open to get your podcast registered, I jumped through that hoop, and happy to say that we are now in there. So,
Ooh.
if you're a Spotify user and you enjoy that, you can add us.
Spotify's great. Yeah,
I love Spotify, man.
Good move. Yeah.
Even the free version is pretty cool. Just every now and then, every second or third song, you get these boisterous ads that are 50% louder than the music you're listening to. But other than that,
If you listen to the whole ad, they'll let you go 30 minutes ad free.
fair enough.
You don't skip the ad.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's not. So Thursday's going to be a good day. You're going to get to hear the Last Jedi soundtrack, and on Friday you'll get to hear the next Powerful Friends Friday transmission from us. Okay, Corey, collecting update this week. Anything for you?
Actually, it's a big no.
Boo!
Well, I kind of got one thing to say, actually, but I didn't really go out looking this week. Next week I plan on doing most of my shopping. I went out the past couple of weeks, and like I said, I found Leia, which I was super happy about. Other than that...
Didn't you order that? Or are you talking about the 6-inch?
6-inch.
Right.
Yeah. So, other than that, basically been ordering stuff online, and I just kind of found out this week, which is kind of somewhat disappointing, because I ordered a bunch of stuff off online on November 20th. Now, I've been corresponding with the guy, and I only found out this last Thursday, I believe, that the product had shipped, and the shipping, the receiving date is like the 20th or something, and I was like, come on, man, like, I really, really wanted to have it for The Last Jedi, right? Like, anyhow, I wanted to. It's for people that I'm going to see dinner with, or see the movie and have dinner with, So hopefully, I'm hoping. I know it's shipped. I got an email today. I'm tracking it, but man, it's gonna be tight if anything. So that kind of sucks. And there was a second package going out to someone else across the world, and I was like, "Yo, this needs to land like quickly, man. Like you should have told me, that like you hadn't shipped it yet." He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." He's like, "I'll ship it express," on his dime. So at least there was that.
This is the worst collecting update ever, because you're not telling us what you're getting.
Yeah, it's all secrets. Secrets.
I have a short collecting update this week. So I did a quick toy run at our local Walmart and Toys R Us. I had my hands on Black Series Finn in his first order disguise. Good looking figure. Ultimately, I passed it up because I had an armful of goodies for the kids for Christmas, and then just the extra $20 just didn't seem worth it. So,
which figurine? The Imperial one?
Finn, first order disguise.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I got that.
Officer outfit. So yeah, I put it down. I may come to regret that, but so far so good. Then I went over to Walmart.
Listen to the Nerd Room. They're saying that one should hang around along with Poe.
Yeah, I mean it was already cut from regular 29 to down to 19, so that's not I'm not too worried. And then I went over to Walmart, and Walmart's just been coming up empty for me almost all over the place, no matter what. So I'm flipping through the 3 3/4 figures, just about to come up empty, and literally the last 3 figures on the last post that I look at, there it was: Island Journey Rey, Jedi Exile Luke, and General Leia. Boom! What a sweet score.
So that's the second wave Luke?
Second wave Luke, baby.
Did you get it for me?
Nope.
Did you get it for me?
So funny.
It's all mine. Another Luke that I own that you want.
Kyle, do me a favor. Don't tell him this stuff, because now I got to hear him beg.
Not only will it beg.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at the artwork of Luke on this package, and his hair is completely tousled. He's got this look on his face, and he looks like a wet scowl, like a wet dog who's just been like completely berated by his owner. And I'm picturing Corey's face instead of Mark Hamill's here. Like, yeah, this is Corey begging for this figure right now. I'll send you guys a picture after. It's a hilarious picture.
That's when I start force choking you after.
Nope, but that's you know what, I heard you on the Nerd Room, Corey. Good job. Another good episode. So you guys talked about your best collecting score of 2017. right? So I thought, what's mine? And although the answer is and always will remain X-Wing Luke, this is right there. I mean, this is right up there. These are the 3 3¼ figures that I wanted. I'm almost ready to say I'm done collecting 3 3/4 figures.
Where did you find them?
Walmart, local one.
Wow. P-Town?
No, not there. In Vaudreuil.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, man.
That's my spot.
It's my spot now. I'm taking over. Yep.
It's okay.
I got those 3. And that's probably my best. I think probably my happiest score of 2017, including Force Friday stuff. You know, the other thing I noticed about this figure is when I look really closely at Luke's robes, underneath that leatherish poncho he's wearing, the weave and texture of this black tunic looks a lot like Kylo Ren's suit. A lot.
Interesting.
I wonder if there's something going on there.
They took a sewing class together on Acto, or
Jedi mending class, Jedi weaving,
yeah,
Jedi tunic weaving. Wouldn't surprise me.
It's like meditating.
I suppose so, if you want to call it that. But yeah, that's it. I'm happy with that score for today. I wasn't going to put those back, so I figure I swapped out.
And there was no duplicates?
Nope, it was the only 3 of those 3 figures.
Bastardo.
You know what though? The Rey figure and the Leia figure, not nice, man. Not nice sculpts.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, if you ever get your hands on a Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, look at the sculpt on that Star-Lord. Man, they're like so good in comparison. That's what I don't understand.
I will say this, I was never really super impressed with the packaging design for the Last Jedi figures, but it's the portrait of Leia and Rey and to an extent Luke, because it's so funny. They save these figures for me. Otherwise, I'm just happy to have them. Okay, collecting update
man.
over, man.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Jelly.
Be jelly. Be jelly. Did you just name the episode?
The begging's coming. Be jelly.
Guys, okay, so I guess we'll slowly dip into whatever news there is here. But it sounds like a Disney and Fox deal is imminent. So this is not necessarily Star Wars related, but it could have huge ramifications for nerddom, right? Like, this could be Disney getting its hands on X-Men and Fantastic Four and putting them back where they belong at Marvel. Does that have you fired up or what?
And not only that, we got Avatar, Alien, God, there's all kinds of franchises. Simpsons.
Oh, Simpsons were always fine under Fox. I'm not worried about that. I'm primarily thinking of X-Men and Fantastic Four, which have been
Oh yeah, that's
very
the longing.
sketchy.
I just need to bring those up just because that's all that's been on my mind is the unification of the MCU, really. That universe would be so cool. And with everything that's going on right now in the current MCU with Infinity War and the possibilities of what can come from the aftermath, if they sign this deal prior, they can start planning around their future involving, X-Men and all that stuff.
Yeah. James, what about you over there? Does having X-Men and Fantastic Four back at Marvel thrill you, or are you so sort of dismayed by comic book movies that, whatever?
No, I like what Marvel's doing. I think Marvel's getting it right more often than they're not, or at least as often. And I think it's great. Although, Deadpool might be the best superhero movie I've seen in recent memory, and that was under a different umbrella. So there's something to be said for the small guy getting a crack at stuff. Look, independent takes on things, and I do worry or wonder if one parent company owning everything at some point becomes a problem. But the way we set up our pool to point out the fact that the parent company leaves these smaller companies alone to do their own thing, that seems to be the pattern that we've seen so far. So yeah, I guess I'm excited about it because it means that the writers will get to include more characters that obviously everybody likes.
Yeah. I mean, this creates so much potential. in what we could get in MCU movies. And I'll leave those nitty-gritty details to the guys at the Nerd Room. But yeah, that has me incredibly excited. And the only downside to this, if it's $60 billion as reported, I'm afraid of what Rupert Murdoch does with that $60 billion and funding his cuckoo banana news machine. Like they are just the worst.
Maybe he'll build a wall. Maybe he'll waste it all on a 10-foot wall. That'd be great.
Oh God! And James, you kind of alluded to it. Disney owning Fox now. Like, I have no clue. I am not a lawyer. I have no clue. But this is at some point antitrust has to come up, doesn't it?
How do you mean? Fox, Fox does. They will retain rights to their news department and a few other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, Disney's just going to own too much.
It's like a monopoly almost. Like I think last year we said they were close to like 25% of all movies. Then the following year, 17. I don't even know anymore, but I know like the number's just been growing where it's like they're a third of like the movie industry's profits. And it'll only grow from there if they swallow this company up as well. There are other studios out there, and I guess that's what saves that conversation from happening. I mean, I imagine that if antitrust was a thing here, we'd already be talking about it. How complicated must it be to work that kind of deal out? But $60 billion deal? A little bit.
Wow. Can't even imagine it. Yeah, but anyway, there's a little non-Star Wars tangent for you. Did you guys know that there's one really awesome cameo in The Last Jedi?
Yep.
And we're not talking about Tom Hardy or is it Justin Theroux?
I could say it.
You want to say it? Who is it? I mean, does this? I mean, okay, this is
no. It doesn't. Spoiler, it was in a magazine.
It was in a magazine cover. It's not a spoiler, guys. Don't bail out on this. Corey, go ahead.
Gary Fisher, baby.
Gary Fisher.
Leia's little puppy doggy.
Yep. So an eagle-eyed.
He's part of the Canto cast.
It's hilarious. Like I remember reading or seeing that image and not thinking twice about it. I remember seeing it's basically Gary Fisher, but his face has been digitally altered to look like some sort of three-eyed weirdo French bulldog. I can't believe it took this long for somebody to go, is that Gary? And for Rian Johnson to go, yeah.
They're like, he was like, good eye. Like, and this has been out there for a while. And like you said, there's no one had brought it up whatsoever. Super interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so nice to see that. That's going to be cool just to spot him in the flick. Oh boy. There's one thing Gary Fisher has on us, guys. He's been in a Star Wars movie. Bastard. All right, guys. So next, I think I want to talk about some of these reviews, these early reviews. We had the red carpet premiere, and the critics are going a little bit nuts. And I tweeted earlier on Sunday, I can't keep my focus anymore. Reading these reviews, my expectations now are starting to get away from me. And we talked last week about, is this going to be the best Star Wars movie ever? And Corey flippantly.
I think it is.
I really think it is.
Sorry. I'm pretty sure it is. That's what he said. I'm pretty sure it will be.
I really think it's likely. I think that's what he said.
And then I was like, whatever.
But, so at this point, I'll take a step back and just say we've roped in another powerful friend to the pod here. So this is becoming a real commiserative thing. Carlos, say hi, man.
Hi, man. How's it going?
Carlos!
Woo! Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Carlos knows the podcast window. He saw my tweet about, I can't keep my focus. I'm losing control. And you decided you're probably feeling the same way and just wanted to get on here and have a therapy session.
Oh, I'm as giddy as a gerbil on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
No, it's not. I just made it up.
Is that a thing? He says.
Yeah. I don't know. Do people give gerbils like turkey carcass for Thanksgiving? I don't know.
I think the tryptophan works differently on them, so I figured, I don't know. Either way.
All right, let's get back to these reviews. These incredible reviews, and I
actually haven't heard a review yet.
Me
So
neither.
that's
I've
good?
been, yeah.
these are all spoiler free.
Yeah, I just heard a couple of people gloss over pretty much the overall reaction, but I haven't heard an individual review yet.
All right, so these are all just tweets, so take that as you will. These are very summarized thoughts, and these are all from people
And
with a blue
spoiler-free,
check mark.
right?
Totally spoiler free. They're not allowed. These guys are not allowed to give any details about the movie, lest they never get invited back. So, totally sterile, spoiler free stuff here. And so Ryan Parker, I don't know who any of these people are, but like I said, they all have the blue check mark, which probably means they're a prominent critic. It's amazing, all caps. Just amazing. Have a lot to process, but wow. And Aaron...
Stop yelling at us, Ryan. Jeez.
We heard you. Aaron Couch. The Last Jedi is incredibly satisfying and hands down Mark Hamill's best performance as Luke Skywalker.
Interesting.
Peter Sharetta from Slash Film. I think we all know that guy. Star Wars The Last Jedi is so very different, exciting, surprising. So many emotions, so many amazing moments. Stay away from spoilers. We will. God.
We're trying. Back off.
Seriously.
I'm not going to
Corey,
read all these. There's a lot.
You tried to spoil us before we got on the air. You tried to spoil us. You're the worst. The worst.
Watch Jimmy Kimmel, everybody.
Shh.
This one from Joshua Yell. I am stunned by Star Wars The Last Jedi. I gasped. I laughed. I screamed. I cried. And I had the time of my life. Rian Johnson pulled it off, making what might be the best Star Wars movie ever. Look at that, Corey.
Oh.
He said might be.
He's not willing to go to likely yet.
He only watched it once.
At least he saw it.
Terry Schwartz
Can't commit.
says, there's a scene in Star Wars The Last Jedi that I keep playing over and over in my head that is so stunning and unexpected that I don't want to forget how I felt seeing it for the first time. This movie feels unlike any other Star Wars movie in all the ways I hoped.
Shut him up, Kyle. I don't want to hear any more. Stop it.
I don't know. There's more here. There's a lot more here.
Dude!
From the same Terry Schwartz. Not only are Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill at their very best as Leia and Luke in this movie, but Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver blow Rey and Kylo Ren out of the park. I didn't expect where those characters went, and it's my favorite part of the movie. Gray Drake, holy wow, I'm stunned at Star Wars The Last Jedi, an adventure as epic and sweeping as all the other films combined, with laughs, tears, and moments that will make your head pop off. I cared about this movie. What a great feeling. These are pretty crazy, huh?
Toyota. Hey, I gotta be honest. Like, you're right. I'm worried about getting overinflated. Read some bad ones.
I'm trying, man. Maybe there are some bad ones out there, but this is one hit after another. I'll find there's a lukewarm one in here. I'll get to that one.
Lukewarm.
But looking back on the TFA too, they weren't actually. I don't know if they were in this high of praise, but I remember hearing the same thing. J.J. Abrams did it. Like
these ones are a notch above, I think. Anyway, this one from Perry Nemiroff. The Last Jedi floored me. Rian Johnson and the team nail so much. Thrills, laughs, heart, and most of all, pushing the characters / overall franchise a major step forward. Some really rich material to explore in the future. Can't wait for more. Jen Yamamoto. The Last Jedi is so beautifully human, populist, funny, and surprising. I cried when one person of color, heroine, got her moment because films like these leave their mark on entire generations and representation matters. Go Rose. Adam Driver in the... this is from Kyle Buchanan.
You think she meant Rose?
Sorry?
You cracked that.
No, I added...
Oh, you think she...
I added Go Rose.
You think she meant Rose? That's interesting.
I think she has to be talking about Rose. That was me editorializing that.
I know. I'm pointing out that it's sort of sad that there's really only one possible person that could be. That's sort of sad, but good, but sort of sad.
Yeah. Kyle Buchanan says Adam Driver in The Last Jedi obligingly serves the most Star Wars beefcake since Luke went sleeveless on Dagobah. Interesting. Okay, so here is the lukewarm one. The Last Jedi, a little too long and dragged in the middle, but great fun overall. As good as The Force Awakens, Rogue One is better. I don't know. Is that reading properly? I don't know. More humor than expected. Great Star Wars moments. Mark Hamill is awesome. A worthy episode 8. That is the air quotes worst one.
By J.J. Abrams.
Sounds like a millennial wrote that to me.
No, this is from Scott Mantz, and he looks like he might be pushing middle age.
Yeah, he's definitely old school. Like the whole Rogue One thing gave it away to me. That he's definitely like he still has a little. Okay, I'm not gonna say this is not Sith Disturbers. So, he's perching a little bit still from the OT. So like, maybe that's it. I don't know. Drags too long. What Star Wars fan says a Star Wars movie is too long?
Well, the first cut was like 3 hours, wasn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Here's our friend, Anthony Bresnikan, friend to all fandom. Luke was right. This is not going to go the way you think. The Last Jedi will shatter you and then make you whole again.
Ooh, the Brez saying that, eh? Because he gave us all these articles, and if he's been taken aback and surprised,
yeah,
booyah.
All right, I'm just going to do a couple more here.
The Brezinator.
This list goes on and on. I'm just going to do a couple more. Eric Davis. The Last Jedi is absolutely fantastic. Gripping, touching, funny, and powerful with gorgeous shots and the most badass battles. When it gets going, holy crap does it get going. Hands down the best Star Wars movie since Empire. Let's see this one. James Viscardi. I think he used to work for Marvel. No hyperbole. The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. Rian Johnson and co. nailed it.
Oh, I like this guy's conviction.
Okay, last two here. So this is from Jermaine Lucier, who's a trusted resource among Star Wars fans. He writes for Gizmodo, I think. Star Wars The Last Jedi is everything. Intense, funny, emotional, exciting. It's jam-packed with absolutely jaw-dropping moments, and I loved it so much I'm still shaking. And this one, James Mangold, who directed Logan. Massive congrats to my friend Rian Johnson for the dazzling writing and directing work he shared tonight. Yes, a great chapter of a blockbuster franchise, spectacular and unpredictable, but also his own voice shining through. Kudos. Wow, look at that.
I love that. That last one says a lot to me, coming from another filmmaker, to say that the writing was spectacular. That kind of like lets the last few little maybe doubts I had of, all the throwback talk or all the reboot talk, like that just
gone.
It's gone. It's over. Yeah.
Actually, I'll read one more from Jermaine here. He had a second tweet. I can't believe The Last Jedi exists. Rian Johnson is a madman, and I love him for it. He takes Star Wars to the edge and throws it over. What a crazy, awesome movie. We'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm good.
Expectations level rising.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think the reviews are slightly glowing.
They're way better than The
Force
Force
Awakens. To you guys?
Yeah, I'm jumping in here. I hope you guys don't mind. I really think, like, I remember reading some of the reviews before The Force Awakens, and they were good, but, there was a lot of the whole, it brings Star Wars into the 21st century and all that type of stuff, it was a lot about, the cinematography and how, there wasn't that much about the story per se. And now these, like the last few there, it's like he takes it to the edge and throws it over, and the writing is spectacular. And wow, like I didn't need this film to be better than Empire, you know what I mean? But like I'm getting that feeling that if like 50% of those guys think that it's better, like that's already we're in for a treat, boys.
I think so.
Yeah, man.
I think so. And
Hells yeah.
Yeah, I still think this movie is going to leave fandom a little bit shook. Like I think these guys are a little bit they're fans, but I think they're also giving us a critical eye at the movie. I'm still convinced we're going to walk out of that theater and be a little bit uncomfortable. We will acknowledge, all the great cinematography and the great writing, great performances, kick-ass action. But I think whatever turns happen in the plot, we might go, that's weird, man. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on that right now. We'll see how I feel after a second, third viewing, 2-3 years from now, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're going to be like, I don't know, Corey, you were right. I don't know if I like this.
Oh God! So does that make you guys any more excited? James, are you any more excited, or is it just water off a duck's back?
I'm trying to let it be water off a duck's back. I'm trying not to, because I expectation affects my enjoyment of things. Like, I'm aware of that. So I don't want to go in overinflated, and I'm already pre-pumped. So I'm trying to take that with a grain of salt. You know, these people also were invited to an event that is incredibly exclusive and ego inflating, you know? So they're feeling like $1 million coming out of there. So I'm not saying it's not an amazing movie, but I think you're likely to give a really good review under those circumstances.
Yeah, you got buttered up a little bit, right? And maybe you're scratching the back a little bit. Not to take anything away from the movie.
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just trying to keep it, you know, I'm looking for ways to keep it real, and so that's the kind of stuff I'm saying in my brain right now.
Absolutely. That's fair.
I'm on the 100% the same page there, James. Like, just, yeah. You said it all there.
There's a value bomb.
Sorry, man. Like, I'm just on the same page.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yep. No, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's getting real tough to keep those expectations reined in. And yeah,
but you got to try. That's the point. Like James was saying, like, you got to rein it in at one point, because, like, critics, that's their job to really, like, if something's bad, they should bash it. Like, whatever it is, maybe not bash it, but, you know, critique it, whatever. But I mean, hearing these kind of things definitely raises expectation levels for me.
I look at it,
but
like
I gotta rein it in too.
I look at it like this: the one bad comment anybody said was that it was a little long and it slowed down in the middle. Like, if that's the only thing, like, this guy was like, I think, like, grasping at straws to try to find something negative to say. So it's like, you know, dude, was everybody else afraid to say something? Or I doubt it. I mean, these people have integrity. So there's,
exactly.
At a certain point, you know, you got to take what's being given to you.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, you would know more, I think, but I don't know if you guys remember, I think right off the hop, I don't know if it was the reviews that came off the red carpet premiere, but there was already reboot, rehash talk at that time.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't hear one review saying reboot, rehash of Empire.
Nope.
Anything you just said.
Nope, that talk is dead. Dead. I mean, the only rehashy type stuff, if you want to even call it that, Walker's in the middle part of the saga. A young person being trained by an older person. There you go.
I don't know if you'll allow me here, Kyle, but I have a bit of a theory that can kind of allude to what we're talking about at the moment.
I don't know. We're a few days out, Corey. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if we want to pollute the waters.
Well, it's more a prediction. It's more a prediction that, like, there's nothing that's ever indicated that, but it's kind of a throwback to another film.
Okay, you know what? Don't do it now. We'll do it at the end of the show. That way, if people want to, I don't want people to start cutting out now.
Well, I don't think it's. I don't know. It's just there's nothing that's indicated it. You know what I mean? It's not spoilery. So
you are
the worst.
Okay.
End of the show. We'll all have a shot to throw out one more prediction or theory. That way, if people want to just leave at the end of the show before we do our predictions, they can do so. But otherwise, we'll keep the meat of the show nice and spoiler free. Some people just don't even want to let their thoughts wander back into the movie at this point. So let's just keep it that way and give the option. We'll do that towards the end of the show. Okay, so it seems like, as you know, our confidence is growing in this movie, and we really think that Lucasfilm's confidence in this movie and in Rian Johnson in particular are already through the roof. Hence why they gave him that trilogy. But now I don't know. I got this off Dave Donovan. He posted a picture to his Facebook feed. I don't know where it comes from. It looks very official, so I'm going to use it. And you know, if it turns out not to be official, well, maybe I'll issue a press release and a mea culpa. But Lucasfilm seems to be submitting this movie in an awful lot of Oscar categories, and I don't know if that is standard operating procedure that they just always submit, because I didn't see anything for Rogue One, and I don't remember seeing anything for TFA. But I think Lucasfilm has submitted this to, I don't know, is it the MPAA they submit this to, or whatever. But for your consideration in all categories, they've submitted this for Best Picture, produced by Kathleen Kennedy and Ron Bergman.
Wow.
Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor for Mark Hamill, Best Actress for Daisy Ridley, Best Supporting Actor. They've given nods to... Sorry,
Adam
I shouldn't...
Driver.
No, I'm not going to say nods. It makes it sound like they're actually getting nominated. This is just Lucasfilm saying, we want you to consider these guys. Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Benicio del Toro, Andy Serkis, and Donald Gleason. Best Supporting.
All for supporting?
All for supporting.
Wow.
Best Supporting Actress, Carrie Fisher, Gwendolyn Christie, Laura Dern, Kelly Marie Tran. Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, Best Visual Effects, Best Original Score. Now, I don't know how many of these are legit claims, but man, they seem really pleased with this flick.
I gotta ask you guys this, like, having just heard this kind of just popped in my head. There's been a lot of times in the past, like, I love watching the Oscars. I usually wait till the end. I love the in memoriam and all that, but, you know, I've seen Star Wars lose quite a few times in certain categories where I'm just like, and even not that many pertinent categories, but just imagine that there were, I'll give it to you, James, like in a Lord of the Rings equivalent from Return of the King for Star Wars, where it's an Oscar sweep for Star Wars. We've never seen that before. Imagine that for this film. Like, how are we going to feel about that?
A fantasy film can't win 10, 11, 12 Oscars. It's impossible. Oh, wait, that happened. Okay, but a sci-fi film cannot win 10, 11. Well, I guess maybe we'll see, eh?
Yeah. Well, I don't even consider Star Wars so much sci-fi as I do fantasy, really.
I think it's still...
Alistair Stevens can
sci-fi.
clear that up.
That's true.
In fact, he did, but that's neither here nor there.
You sounded a lot like him there. Did you listen? So obviously you listened to that one. He knows himself some Star Wars. That was a good pod.
Oh yeah, inside out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, James, you're I like to call you our resident Oscar expert.
Oof. Okay.
Maybe formerly Oscar expert.
He just likes dressing up in a tux.
I do like wearing a tux, so I'll take the title.
I mean, I don't know if you can shed any light, but it sounds like this movie is going to just be rock solid from all the technical standpoints to all of the bigger points like director and writing and all this stuff. The actors,
kind of like A to Z.
A to Z, yeah. It looks like that's a submission list, right? So we don't know for sure what's going to get nominated, but I'll say if they lock down some of the acting and directing, if they get nominated there, that already is sort of a victory, because Star Wars has been special effects nominated and makeup and costumes.
Best score.
They've been there. Best score, yeah. They've been there before.
Yeah, technical stuff.
But even just getting nominated in a bunch of, I guess we'll call them more legit, because like it's snobby to look at it that way. They should all be sort of held with the same weight, but they're not. And if they get best actress or even best supporting director, if they get some of those, I think that's a win in and of itself.
Yeah, and I'd imagine. I mean, Star Wars has never been sort of lauded for its writing or acting or directing.
Where it started, come on, it was very popular, but the Academy laughed at the models and the hairy Wookiees, and there was no chance that they ever foresaw this day coming where we have that many nominations.
No, this sounds like it might be the first movie that is so good they can't ignore it, that they might have to give somebody something in one of these weightier categories.
You can thank Return of the King.
Well, that's an interesting point. So, like, I think a lot of people maybe see the Return of the King sweep as sort of a nod to Peter Jackson for the entirety of what he had done. Would you agree with that, James?
I think it was, yes, but I'd add to that, I think it was also a nod to J.R.R. Tolkien. I think it was a nod to the source material too.
Fair enough. So, it's hard to think that, a 3-part story like I don't know that the middle part's gonna walk away with the big sweep, so to speak. And I also don't think episode 9. I don't think J.J. Abrams is in the same category as far as writing and directing goes. I think he's much better at the bubblegum stuff than Rian Johnson might be. But imagine the same sort of thing where here you go, guys. Here's a windfall of awards for episode 9, and it all goes to J.J. Abrams when it maybe Rian Johnson who deserved or who underpinned so much of that. That would be crappy, wouldn't it?
It would be crappy.
It's different.
Go ahead, James.
Just quickly, it's different in this case because it was one director for the 3 movies, all shot at once, whereas for Lord of the Rings, I mean. So they could wait. If there was an idea of giving it to Peter Jackson as a nod for the whole thing, they could wait till the 3rd one, whereas they can't do that here. So I think if they think it's the best one, even though it's the middle of the saga, it will get the big windfall. And they can't really wait for 9, so it could happen.
So I have two things. Sorry, Corey, I just wanted to jump in before I forgot my thought. The only 2 things I have here are, first of all, if maybe episode 9 becomes better because episode 8 was so good. I think that's where George and the OT kind of fumbled a little bit with Return of the Jedi compared to, they had so much opportunity to do such a great thing. And there was no, other episodes to mirror off of. So you didn't have those complaints. They could have gone anywhere. And I think they fumbled that. But in this situation, especially like I said, with the critics talking about the writing in particular, like, I think the door's wide open here. And considering, brings me to my second point, maybe Lucasfilm is taking this opportunity to looking at the movies that came out in the last year and saying, you know what, we better just front load, all our nominations because we actually have a shot here, seeing as I don't know how many great movies there were this year. Like, usually this is the time of year where people start talking Oscar. I think the nominations come out end of December or beginning of January, James?
In the new year.
Yeah, so I think, the timing of this, of even this story being leaked is already training people's minds. And I think they're actually shooting to get these prizes. You understand what I'm saying, Kyle? Like, they're actually like, we have a shot here. Let's push. This is a big push for The Last Jedi.
Yeah, this is like a team in sports who says, you know what, guys, the teams in our division, in our conference, they're not very good. If we add a player or two, let's load up right now and go for it.
Yeah.
Corey, you had something to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to go out there. I think you like the word you said was flippantly. I'm just going to go out there and say that it's most likely going to be like an Oscar sweep for The Last Jedi.
I'll give them 3. How about 3?
How about 8?
Oof. Wow.
I like the number. Yeah.
8 wins?
8. I like it. 8 wins.
How many nominations?
Oh, man. 12.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Okay, you know what? We'll save this for when the nominations actually come out, and we'll do a little we'll have a little fun with it.
Oh man, 8 of 12. Okay,
James, you'll have to come back on for that.
Yeah, we should bet some calamari. I could eat for free on that bet for sure.
Wow, I'm gonna say no more than 3 wins and maybe 5 nominations. I don't see the Academy.
Is it nominated for Best Film? I didn't hear you say
Best
Best Film.
Best Picture.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Right off the top.
Was the first one.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say 5 nominations, 3 wins. Which even at that, I think I'm being generous.
I think 3 is a huge success for a movie.
I want
to see it. At least an actor.
We're betting in the blind. We haven't even seen our cards yet. We're betting
absolutely just. Yeah, we'll come back to this. Maybe we'll come back to this as soon as episode 106. Right? We can just say, guys, what do you think? Is this Oscar worthy to you?
Yeah, that touches back on my poker days as well, man. I seriously remember doing that back in the day where people were just like let's just blind up before we even see our cards, man. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. Starts just anting up more than you should be, like your blinds.
Yeah, I'm just taking my cues from Lucasfilm, and just the fact that this actually came out, before the movie even premiered, it's kind of, I don't know. I think they know what they're doing, and just opening that conversation is opening people's minds to accepting that part of the conversation. I don't know. That's just me. My life experience tells me that, there's a little smoke here, a little smoke right around the corner. So,
yep. Hard to argue with that. Okay, let's jump into what little news we do have this week. So the press junket is well underway. The press tour is in full effect, and Rian Johnson sat down with Collider. And one of the things we learned is that the first cut of The Last Jedi was over 3 hours long, and he chopped out a lot of stuff that he really, really liked. Like scenes that he loved that were fully developed, that we'll see on the Blu-ray as part of the deleted scenes reel. And the movie is like already down to 2.5 hours, but how do you guys, Carlos, I'll start with you. The idea of a director's cut, like Rian Johnson sees this movie as the director's cut, and we're not going to get another version of this movie. Are you down with that? Like the first version should be the final, or do you wish they would stuff in a couple extra scenes here and there?
When I hear the words director's cut, I think of Kevin Smith's Daredevil and how his director's cut was actually way better than the original. I think it kind of told a story better. I'm not saying that this is, whittling it down to 2.5 hours from 3 hours. Maybe it helps tell the story better. Maybe, there's a flow that you can achieve in 2.5 hours. I'm the type of person if save that material, because maybe it'll find its way in episode 9 as part of a backstory or part of something. It'll make JJ's job easier, and knowing that Ryan had his fingers on 9 makes me feel a little bit better. You know what I mean? So, as far as the whole director's cut thing, like, I don't even buy Blu-rays anymore, so I'm just buying them on iTunes. I get a few featurettes here and there. I don't know how much I got compared to somebody who bought a Blu-ray and actually had maybe tons of deleted scenes that I didn't get on iTunes. I'm unaware of the difference between what I have on my featurette compared to a Blu-ray. But I'd be pissed if I bought it on iTunes and then there was like, we have 20 minutes of extra footage here from the movie that was cut. And if that's so beautiful, that's such an amazing shot, or it's an idea that kind of plays, behind the scenes, or helps to tell the backstory a little bit better, then why spoil that if that piece of information, obviously it wasn't good enough to make The Last Jedi, so maybe it was good to leave it on the floor. I don't know. I want as much quality from Rian Johnson as possible. That's just my take on it.
I think what it boils down to really almost is, like the average moviegoer, 2.5 hours is still a bit of an ask. Like he's saying straight up, man, like make sure he recommended stop drinking fluids around like, mid-afternoon time, to watch the film. So does that take into consideration a bit as well? Like, I agree. I really do hope we see the deleted scenes. Like, I want to see this footage. Like, that Wiener critic that said, like, it's too long or whatever, or a bit too long. And, like, any Star Wars fan would really want to consume anything they kind of give us, especially if it's Rian Johnson approved. Like, he liked this. He liked what he had filmed. Just said, like Carlos said, it's, I can kind of trim it a bit to make it this even number of 230. And, it's fully complete at that point as well. But I just really do hope we get to see it at that point. Like, I don't necessarily need a definitive director's cut. If he says this is my definitive director's cut, I trust him at this point.
I love how protective Star Wars fans are. This
back
critic
off, James
is a wiener critic because he said it was too long, and then Corey immediately challenged his Star Wars fandom at its core. Any real Star Wars fan would want to see all 3 hours of the movie, so he's not a real fan like me, who already loves it as my favorite, even though I haven't seen it.
And it's gonna be. You forgot that it was. You forgot that it's gonna be sweep the Oscars.
James, that's why he's the best and the worst. That's why.
I love how protective we are, or Corey is anyway. But I'll say about editing. It just always concerns me when edits happen for time. I get if someone says to me like, yeah, I had 3 hours of footage and it ended up with 2.5 hours of footage because that's what I ended up with after I edited it to like what I was happy with, then I'm like, yeah, man, that's awesome. But if the director was like, here's my movie, it's 3 hours, and they were like, and now it's 2.5 hours, that sucks.
No, let's see at this point, like the amount of creative freedom they've given him, I'm pretty sure they would have let him make the film that he wanted to, you know? Like, he seems responsible enough to have made his own decision.
Yeah, I think this is where having the writer and director be the same person plays to your advantage. Because if he needs to get it down for time, I think he knows when and where and how to do that.
I'm sure that's true, but I hope there's an extended edition at some point in the future because they're always better, or just about always.
Or like I said, at least there's a deleted scene from Jedi that I really enjoyed, man. Like pretty much right after they get out of Jabba's palace. You ever seen that one where they're kind of like walking to the Falcon in a sandstorm?
Yeah.
And you get to see them all kind of like in different garb, like a really different kind of feel for Star Wars, or the sandstorm goggles, scarves around their faces, handkerchiefs on their mouth. Like I was like, yeah, I'm feeling this, you know?
Yeah, it's a cool scene, but it really does nothing. Like
exactly.
So you cut it and you move the dialogue from that scene like to a radio transmission between two ships as they make for their next destination. So that's
it kept the story moving.
You're trimming the fat.
Exactly. It just kept the story moving further along. I want to get your guys' take on this. What if episode 9 comes out and the title comes up, Star Wars episode 9, and then right under part 1. What if they split part 9 or episode 9 into 2 parts? Would you accept that as part of like?
No.
No.
One year apart. 1 year apart, because they're filming the whole thing, right?
Because then they get that brings us. We've had this conversation many times. Will they give us Star Wars Episode X for 10? You know, to round everything out or whatever it is, or to start a new trilogy. But
because you look at like a show like Walking Dead, like they'll have like usually it's between 44 and 47 minute long episodes. Sometimes it's 52, but then you get closer to like an hour and 6 minutes. The actual runtime of the episode. So it's like, you know, sometimes the story is longer. Like in Rian Johnson's case, it was a 3 hour. I don't think you could have split that in 2. But I'm just thinking, like, you know, hypothetically, if there's a killer story in front of JJ and he says, we can cut this in half and make 2 parts. So episode 9 is actually in 2 parts. It's not doable. It's not acceptable.
I know. I think it breaks too much with the way Star Wars is made.
Oh, Star Wars is about to be unmade, though. Wait till you see this movie.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, within the one episode structure. I like movies. They have done that, right? Like, I think Harry Potter did that. If I'm not mistaken, I think Twilight did that. Kill Bill was supposed to be a 3 hour movie, ended up getting split into 2. I don't know if that's whose call that is. I don't know if that's the studio going, we can double dip. Well, you know, why make bank off one release when we can clearly, there's enough demand here for us to do 2 releases and double up. Like Star Wars could easily do that. I have no trouble believing they could make episode 9 4 hours long and split it into 2 hour movies, 2 hour movies. They could do that, but I don't think they will. I really don't. Good question,
Yeah,
though.
I don't know if I'd like it anyway, yeah.
I don't know. I just look at it like, especially when we found out that The Last Jedi starts right away from the end of The Force Awakens. Like, it's kind of, if you think about it, every episode kind of, there was a bit of a time gap in between, right? So, I don't know. I kind of felt like this could be like, you know, The Force Awakens again, or, you know, like, obviously it's not from what we're hearing, but that idea came into my head because of that. Because of the fact that there's no time jump in between episode 7 and 8. So I was just asking that question. You know, I don't know. It's interesting. I would love to know.
It is a valid question, and soon Disney's going to have a $60 billion purchase to finance. So
Exactly.
maybe they'll say, yeah, you know what? This is a nice way to pull in a couple billion extra dollars. Let's do it. I don't know if I'd be down with that, but they could decide to do that. Anyway, so I you know what? This might get me into some trouble, but if you believe that the director's cut, and I'm not talking just with us four guys here, but anybody out there, like if you're a type of person who believes that the director's cut is the definitive vision that we should all accept and live by, then you have no business demanding the original version of Star Wars. The original version of A New Hope. Because that means special editions are George's definitive vision. That's the director's cut.
Look, a lot of Ridley Scott's stuff, every time it comes out to DVD, he always has a director's cut. They're not always better. How can I say this? The positive spin that I took was from Daredevil. But there are other director's cuts that are like, okay, whatever. Like, and if you're gonna throw the special editions into that, then yeah, I mean, like, no, go back to what was there. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think you could say the director's cut is always the definitive cut. I don't believe, I'm not in that camp. I don't believe that to be true. I don't know about you guys, but.
Yeah, no.
There's another value bomb.
Nope.
Okay, we'll move on from this. Another Collider interview with Ryan, focusing a little bit on his new trilogy, where Ryan just flat out says that it's not going to be based in Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic, and I think it's exciting to have a fresh start. I know a lot of people wanted to see something in the Old Republic, or even a reboot or a vision on screen of Knights of the Old Republic, but there was zero chance. There was never 1% of a chance that Rian Johnson was going to do that, ever. That was just not happening. And the minute you do that, you voluntarily step into a wasp nest of fan expectations. And they're doing this, they're creating this new trilogy to get away from that exact thing. So I don't know, how does this make you guys feel? Are you disappointed? No Knights of the Old Republic, or is this okay, let's move on now?
I love it. I love it. Like, kind of Kathleen Kennedy's ears perked up because, we've just heard the enjoyment that they've had in filming with Rian Johnson. Like, everything just went so incredibly swimmingly. Like, they're both enamored with one another. Like, the freedom they gave him, what he produced, like, they're totally in love with him. So, like, them giving him the keys to this, like, I don't know, just sorry, man.
Okay,
Another
Corey,
value bomb.
Corey, I'm gonna
Yes.
help refocus you. What he wants to know is your opinion on not having Knights of the Old Republic be part of the trilogy. That's what he wants to know.
Sorry.
How do you feel about no Knights of the Old Republic?
I think it's perfect. I think
Okay,
it's
good.
perfect.
Okay.
Like, the fact that what he said was, I'm moving away from that at this point. And that's again, like, leading back to what I was saying, like, that's what perked Kathleen Kennedy's ears up. Like, okay, like, what do you got in store? Like, what are you thinking, kind of? It seemed like they were just having some kind of casual conversation. He's like, well, I in my opinion, I think Star Wars should go in this direction, like, away from everything, like, everything that we know. And I've said this since we heard the news, that I really hope that it goes to ancient stuff. So the two things it's pointing to right now to me are ancient things, like, of the early origins of Jedi and the Force and all that stuff, or just like some completely new story in some far, far, far away, distant, unknown place in the galaxy that's just starting something new on their own. I don't so much see it being that. I hope it's somehow, even though it's not a part of the saga, I hope, there could be little bits alluding to and just going back to the origins, man. I think he's the guy to accomplish that.
Easter eggs. You want Easter eggs.
Yeah, like, not necessarily chosen one or prophecy, but maybe the writing of the book that Luke has in his, the Force tree.
Sure. I mean, even I don't know if we're all kind of assuming that he's going back to the past we still have no clue.
No clue. But either way, KOTOR.
Take a hike.
Like you said it, Kyle. Like you can't do something like that. Like it's first of all, it's based on a video game and all that. Like
what do you think the reaction would be of among like really vocal and passionate fans of that time period if you said, "Yeah, I'm revisiting the Old Republic"? People go nuts. Yeah, but I'm not bringing Darth Revan in. People would they absolutely lose their minds. How could you do that time period and not do Revan? Just if that's what you're going to do something else. Like that's what those people would say.
Well, in the inverse too, you see this all the time in the comic industry and all kinds, even in movies too. Like, you take that character Revan, and even though he's in our hearts, he's a part of KOTOR. You put him in the story that you have, and it has nothing to do with KOTOR, but you still have this character Revan, kind of like the way he's still very similar, but Thrawn, they completely rebooted Thrawn, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they kind of, I felt like they de-aged him, but he's still the smart guy.
Yeah, but his story never counted like the big story, Heir to the Empire, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, they pull from that, but it's not fully realized yet in canon.
But just something like that, you know? To be able to take that character and like put him in a new story. Like, here's your Ravon from KOTOR, but this is a whole new thing. Like, that would probably make people go crazy as well. Like, you can't please them.
No, and that's why you don't even bother.
So that's why I see from where I stand, as far as the EU goes, I was more post Jedi. Like that's what interested me more. The evolution of Luke and the children and all that stuff. That's what really had me chomping at the bit, pretty much, being in that, the dark ages of Star Wars.
The further adventures of Luke, Han, and Leia.
Yeah, exactly. Like I never got into Knights of the Old Republic. I was already past video games at that point, and so I never really dug into that. Now I'm not gonna say I don't get why there's anger because it's Star Wars fans. They get angry about everything. So, yeah, exactly. So
you're in big trouble now.
Yeah. So I understand it, but like, let's expand that galaxy. Like when we see R2 put up the projection of the galaxy and then BB-8 fills it up with his part of the map. There's a lot of things happening there. And I don't know if it has to be necessarily in the past, or like pre episode 1, or maybe it's parallel to episodes 1 through 6, or between 6 and 7. There's tons of stuff. Obviously they don't want to, I don't know if you do something that's in the last 30 years, the legend of Luke Skywalker has to, it has to go throughout the galaxy. So I think
you're inviting problems.
Yeah, they're inviting
trouble.
So I think it has to be pre episode 1. But how far back do you go? Like
huge amounts of time.
Don't get Corey started on this now. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm talking like 25,000 years back in time.
Which could be on the table here. I
imagine they land on.
I think he knows.
I
think Ryan knows, but he's not telling us.
That's space dinosaurs.
This thing was, he played coy to me, like in this interview, kind of like he knows more than he's alluding to. Like,
oh, of course,
he knows less. I think he knows less. I don't think he knows.
You don't think he knows? I think he knows what he's doing.
I don't know.
I don't think
I read that interview and I went, this guy's sort of just making it up as he goes along.
I don't think
it's a bad thing.
I don't think he wants to say what it is, or even that he knows what it is. Otherwise, that starts to take away from The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's probably true. What's the over/under on him getting fired before the trilogy's
0.
Yeah.
I think there's a strong chance. I would take the over. I don't think he makes it.
20-1.
I don't think he makes it.
You don't think he makes it through his trilogy? Well, we don't know. We know he's directing the first.
We don't know if he's going to be direct. That's it. We don't know if he's directing all 3 either.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's directing
he talked
the first.
about that, right? He doesn't in these Collider videos. He made it pretty clear that all the options are on the table. He's writing and directing the first, and no real decision's been made for 2 and 3 yet. It could be him. It might not be. Just there's no decision there.
And there's no timeline as to when. Like if it's 2021, 22, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know that either.
Yeah, so
I think it would be risky for him to try to direct all 3. It'll get him fired. I think he should pass it off after the first one.
But he definitely said that he wants to have make the general arc and skeleton structure of all 3 stories he wants to write. Like, not necessarily the films themselves and the dialogue and whatnot, but he wants to write that 3 stories, not just the one.
Well, that's why he was hired. That's why he was hired.
Exactly. Like he's back 20 years ago into the EU thing, like where I would do this and I would do that and and like let him have it. Let him have it. If he did such a great job with this movie from where it was left off, and he took that baton and he pretty much Usain Bolted, like I don't know. I say let him do it. And if he does get fired, James, it's because Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing. and they're gonna right that ship as well. Like, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting fired. I don't.
It's not that I want him to, and I think this, based on what we're hearing about this movie, he's doing awfully well for himself. I think it's really a dangerous place to work. It just feels like, with what we've heard, I wouldn't want to be a director doing a bunch of movies.
I see him quitting before being fired.
Well, Kyle said that before. A lot of these guys have super integrity. Like, it would be written in a way where it's a mutual thing. But either way, like, I have to say that he's very courageous. Any Star Wars director, writer, anyone that's going to put their name to this franchise and try and go up against fandom, they got courage, man, and confidence. And every time you see him in an interview, it's not like he's not confident, that's for sure. And he's happy about what he's doing, and he's passionate. So we're lucky, man. And I just can't wait to go out with you guys on Thursday.
It's going to be awesome, Corey.
It's going to be great. Okay, we're going to skip the last news item here, which we're going to speed things along. We're already like an hour and 20 into this, so we'll skip right ahead into Binary Sunset. And we got a couple cool questions here. We got ads back as usual. Bradley's in the mix. James Weibel's made an appearance. Hi, James. And we'll wrap things up with some jiving with Jeffrey, another Seinfeld Star Wars mashup. And then we'll wind things down as we always do. So let's hear from ads.
Hello, boys. So I've gone dark to try and avoid Star Wars spoilers, but I'm still going to send you in a question, Star Wars related. The question this week is, which Star Wars characters of your choosing would drive which vehicles of your choosing? For example, Yoda might drive a green Mini Cooper. So over to you. Have a great show. And next time we speak, The Last Jedi will have landed. Take care. Bye.
All right, there goes ads. Ads one more time, sir. Thank you. And next week's going to be as much fun as we always have, but this time we can tread as freely and openly as we want. So this affords us a nice little step back from Star Wars canon. We don't have to speculate on anything or spoil anything. Guys, this is just us 3 guys talking cars. A little car talk here. James, I think you're very confident in your car choices today.
I'm happy with my car choices today.
All right, so let's play a little ping pong here. You name a guy or a girl from Star Wars, and what car would they be driving?
Okay, I'll start with Vader.
All right.
I've got Vader and I was thinking, for all of these, I won't go into this kind of detail for each answer, but for all of them, I was thinking, like, what would they look good in and what would suit their personality here in modern day Earth? But also, does it relate back to the vehicle they drove in Star Wars? So, like, he needs something pretty fast moving. And so I've got him in a matte black Hemi Cuda from like 1970.
I like
Very well
that.
done. Yeah,
I
I had
like
a Hemi. I had the Hemi Charger for Vader.
Well, yeah, there you go. Same,
Oh, yeah,
same
exactly.
thing. Great minds, my friend.
You went back.
put-
You
I
went
put-
old school. I went new school.
I put Vader in a big black Hummer H1.
Oh, nice. If we're gonna ping pong around like this, I've got a Humvee as well, but I got the Rancor in the Humvee.
I had Chewbacca in a Humvee actually.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah, the size. You need the leg room when you're that
Yeah.
tall, right?
Exactly.
Well, if we're on Chewie, I got Han and Chewie in a 1972 Hearst Vista Cruiser.
Oh, nice.
It was the pace car for the Daytona 500 for a few years. It looked like a Vista Cruiser wagon, but it could do it could do the Kessel Run in 12.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So for
That's a big boat, man. But and
it's a big boat. It's a cargo ship that moves.
Yep.
you know?
That's a pretty good pick. I like that. I'll go to my Han pick in a minute. I put Lando because I don't know what to make of Lando. You watch him in Rebels and you think, well, he's a bit of a phony. You see him in Empire. He's the Baron Administrator of Cloud City. That's a pretty legit title. But do we agree that Lando's a little bit sketchy?
Yes.
Good. So that's what my question rested upon. So for me, Lando, as a sketchy guy who presents this image of I'm so cool, he drives an 89 Chrysler LeBaron convertible.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Does he have
I mean, you guys remember that
in
car,
the glove
right?
compartment?
You guys remember that car in the
Yeah,
late 80s, early 90s?
course.
Like anybody who thought they were, super cool but not rich, they would buy the LeBaron convertible and just think they were driving around a Mercedes convertible. It was hilarious.
My friend John Voight had one of those, like Carlos said. Carlos, I know you didn't get to hear this list in advance, but how are we doing so far? Are we?
I'm liking it. I have. I don't know if you want me to jump in or you want to.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Go for it.
So I have Wicket and his band of merry Ewoks driving the Shaggin' Wagon from Dumb and Dumber.
Well, that's nice. I like that. And it's funny you went there because I got a bunch of well-known vehicles too. So I'll go there next. I've got Pin and Foe in honor of Corey in an orange 1968 Dodge Charger.
Nice.
Oh, wow. See, I put Han in a 69 Dodge Challenger. And I think that matches up nicely with the speeder we've seen from shots of Han's speeder in the Han Solo flick.
That is a
just
good
that
call.
big open front grille.
Yeah, I like that. I figured Pin and Foe would be in the generally with the doors sealed up. We haven't talked Luke yet. Did you put Luke somewhere?
I have a farm boy Luke.
My farm boy Luke is a Ford Pinto.
Oh, sorry. That's exactly what I was gonna say. He's living with his aunt and his uncle. And, I want to go to Tashi Station. He's using the rundown old car.
Well, he pulls up into Tashi Station with his Ford Pinto and just thinks he's God's gift to all the ladies of Tashi Station.
Man, I can't believe you. Yeah. Oh, wow. That was bad.
Hey, he's back.
Smokey's back.
We're talking vehicles.
Vehicles.
These guys have got Luke in a Pinto. I had Luke in like an old farm truck, like pickup truck, Ford, 40s pickup truck. But I like the Pinto. That's a good call.
All right, I got Luke on my list. I give him the funny car.
Jump in. The funny car?
Like a funny car, like those long shaped cars with the big balloon tires in the back, kind of like X-Wing style.
Like a dragster?
Yeah, it does sort of look like an X-Wing if you think of it that way. Yeah.
But I'm gonna jump and give you guys the bomb here. Like I gotta drop this before you guys do. I'm gonna start heavy hitter style.
Do it. He's gonna say
All
something
right.
we said
probably.
already.
Han and Chewie in a Winnebago.
Oh, that's
It's pretty
good,
close
but
to what James has.
I like that one.
What did James have?
1972
I had them in
Hearst.
a Vista Cruiser.
The Hearst Vista Cruiser.
The Vista
You know what else?
Cruiser's the wagon from that 70s show.
You know what else I have? Like for Luke, I had alternates for Luke. I had Luke in a hearse, Last Jedi style. That's old man Luke is in a hearse, just because he seems so depressed.
Are you
mean a
getting
hearse?
hearse confused with hearse?
Like
'Cause
the
I got-
funeral car?
Yeah, that's a
A
hearse.
hearse is a
No,
funeral.
that's a hearse. No T. I got Palpatine in a hearse. I got Palpatine in a 1933 Packard V12. That's the hearse from the Addams family.
Oh,
That's
nice.
perfect.
I like that.
That is perfect.
Okay, check this out. Keeping on Luke for 1 second. I went a little step further and loopholed it a bit, and I gave Mark Hamill his own car. He's got the Wagon Queen family truckster station wagon.
What is
That's
that?
the car. That's the car from Vacation.
Nice.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to give Chewie the wood-paneled... Is it a Cherokee or a station wagon? From Harry and the Hendersons.
I love that.
Oh,
one.
well done.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
You know-
good.
Oh, you're going to like my Chewie. I gave
What
Chewie,
about
when he's
Bigfoot?
not with Han, he gets the Canyonero.
I like it. I had Bigfoot for Chewie as his alternate
Oh, of course.
because
That's
Bigfoot,
perfect.
Sasquatch.
I had Luke from The Last Jedi driving a PT Cruiser.
We could we could spend a lot of time here. Okay, do we do Obi-Wan? What do you got
I
for
got nothing
Obi-Wan,
for
Kyle?
Obi-Wan. I didn't do him.
Obi-Wan's drinking.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan's taking an Uber.
You should be. I got Obi-Wan in a Lada Niva 4x4. An old one, beat up.
I have
I put-
episode 4 Leia and a 2000s Volkswagen Beetle convertible.
I got her in a cabriolet. VW cabriolet.
Boy, you're selling Leia short.
done, Carlos.
I'm putting Leia in a vintage Gullwing Mercedes 300 SL.
Yeah, Maybach. She's Maybach material now. Young Leia or old Leia, though?
Yeah,
this-
young Leia. She's the hot girl in the little Volkswagen.
Yeah, I agree. She's and maybe Audi. It could be an Audi cabrio, but she's got the little
Yeah,
convertible.
definitely.
Okay, how about this one? This is a good fit. Boba Fett is on a Ducati.
I
No?
put Boba Fett in
Yeah.
a tricked-out, souped-up Subaru WRX.
That works as well. I was trying to match it to because his ship sort of looks like a single rider motorcycle esque. I don't know. There's something motorcycle about Boba Fett's ship, so I figured
Yeah.
he's either on a Ninja or Ducati.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, too.
Let me get a few off my chest. I'll get some low hanging.
Yeah, unload.
All right, God, I can't believe how much I've seen this stupid commercial on lately. Not only in French, I watch a lot of French TV, French and English.
I
They're
hate
still
it
playing
so
off
much. I hate it so much.
The Nissan Rogue.
Yes, I know which commercial. It's so annoying.
God, it's just Rogue One's over. Stop trying to feed off Star Wars, but obviously they got some kind of deal going on with them. They're like, please let us play on it for one more year. So that's Cassian and Jin's car.
The Rogue One, yeah. The Rogue, I mean, yeah. Low hanging fruit, but it's good. It fits.
And my other kind of low hanging fruit, well, not low hanging fruit, but just not that creative, was a picture of Vader in a Chrysler, like a straight black Chrysler 300.
We all got him in a black car. I guess that's sort of that's the low hanging fruit part. But we put him in a Barracuda and a Charger. Kyle, I don't think you said.
I put him in a Hummer H1.
Oh yes, that's right. You
Yeah,
had him
like
in the
that.
original.
That's more angular. That kind of makes sense. How about this? You guys
You haven't seen the front end of a Charger?
Or a Barracuda.
Like, seriously.
Well,
Open another beer.
I just like that it's more boxy, the Hummer. Like just kind
Yeah,
of.
but
more the
you
stature of
you
his
saw his
face.
TIE Fighter in episode 4?
It moves, buddy.
There's no boxy there.
Meh.
You remember
Just
what?
reminds me of his helmet.
Remember Anakin Starfighters? Come on, man. You gotta respect the guy.
All right, let's move it along. Corey, keep unloading.
All right. Here's a good one. Getting back to the Volks. Rey and her BB-8 Beetle.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Leia and Rey, two young ladies driving around in VWs. I like it.
That's sort of. I guess we're stereotyping
Big
though.
time. I
suppose.
Is that like?
Yeah,
I
a
feel
little
I
bit.
see.
shame.
Oh, but on that note
least
though,
it's
I have
BB-8.
Ray in a rebuilt '80s Mustang that she rebuilt herself.
yeah.
Obviously,
I thought you were going to go with like a tricked out
5-0.
Civic.
It could have been, but I see her more like in a muscle car than a. It could be though. It could be a Civic but rebuilt. Like it looks a bit scrappy, but it's made of the right
Yeah,
stuff
for sure.
All right, check this out. This car is, we're going to customize it a little bit from your regular vision of it, but it's going to have some silver and red trim and highlights, and it's going to be a 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. Kit.
Nice. Kit, yep.
For Kylo Ren.
I like. Oh yes, that's a perfect fit. While you were away, I put Pin and Foe in the General Lee.
I had that too at one point.
Nice.
All right, check this one.
Oh,
All right, go ahead, Carlos.
Okay, I have Tarkin in an Aston Martin.
What? I see him in a grandpa mobile, like a Cadillac.
No,
or something,
man, he's like
an old
upper
one.
class British. You know, he's got some style. He's got some cash. He's got the
Aston Martin.
He's got the cash.
He is rich
like
enough,
a-
but there's a specific
A
there's
Rolls Royce with a chauffeur.
Yeah.
There's one specific stormtrooper who would drive an Aston Martin really well.
Yes, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
All right, so check this. I'm particularly proud of this one. Captain Phasma in a Porsche 356.
Boom.
Absolutely silver.
Yep, silver with the red interior. How
Yeah, 100%.
killer would that match her?
110%.
Yeah, I like it. I was trying to think of a Porsche for someone.
If my answer to Lando was like he's not sketch but he's legit, then you could put him in a Ferrari 308 GTS.
Ooh.
That's Magnum PI's car.
See, my vision of Lando being like Billy D. Williams from the 80s, I would have put him in a Testarossa.
Oh, that is a great car too.
That for me is like
I
the
wanted
pinnacle of 80s cars, the Ferrari Testarossa.
I like
the
for real.
Countach,
And the Diablo.
Lamborghini Countach.
I like where you guys are going with
Excuse
Lando.
me, boys. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm just gonna let my dogs out. Excuse me.
See, like the Lando's cool with the. You guys have him in those. I have him in the Cadillac. Just like a straight up Eldorado.
That is fair.
One arm, left arm on the steering wheel, right arm on the bench, the cushion.
Just
Wha-
cruising.
What have we here?
I could probably come up with more off the cuff here, but I got one last one written down. What do you guys think of this? My boy, Chopper, in a 1926 Model T rat rod.
Okay. I don't know why Chopper needs one when he can just fly around, but
Seriously.
He's saving fuel, man. Come on, he's old. He's a mishmash of parts. Just like these things, they're like Frankensteins. I love it.
I got one more. It's our old friend Hondo Onaka, who likes to drive around in an El Camino.
I love that car. I actually love that car. I don't know why, but there's something about it that's special, man.
Dude, who doesn't? One of my neighbors had one once, and I just, I love that car.
I'm wondering
too.
if by now Ads totally regrets asking that question of us, because we've been going on for a long time about that.
It's been a good 10 minutes.
Yep, we've been kicking that around for a while. Ads, did you have any others? Anybody else want to throw some cars out there? I know Kigo. I bet he's got to be a car guy. Kigo's got to be a car guy with some thoughts here.
Don't they ride kangaroos down there? Do they have cars in Australia?
Dude, Kigo's a train conductor, man.
Yeah, so train is not a car, Corey.
It's technology.
Technology.
Okay, Ads, thank you, sir. And next week, I'm sure we're gonna have some straight fire from you with your burning thoughts on The Last Jedi. So thanks again, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy The Last Jedi. And we'll now dip into some Bradley banter, and we'll hear what Bradley has to say this week.
I'm dreaming of the last Jedi. There's just a few things I must know. Is Luke Rey's dad? Does he turn bad? Leia dies. Please, Poe, say it ain't so. I'm dreaming of the last Jedi. So what's up with that Force tree? Is Finn caught again? And what about Ben? Canto Bite, I can't wait to see. I'm dreaming of the last Jedi. Who is this mystery man in black? Can Phasma earn her pay? Will Snoke rule the day? I hope we'll see another Force back. I'm dreaming of the last Jedi, just like the ones that came before. Will our heroes survive? As a First Order thrive? Or will the Jedi be no more? Well, guys, we've made it. This is it, the last show before we see The Last Jedi. We are just 3 days away from hopefully having our minds blown. And hopefully looking at Star Wars a completely different way. So, what's y'all's plans leading up to seeing the show? You've got any kind of rituals? Are you going to drop off social media altogether? Are you going to stay away from the internet? Are you going to lock yourself in a closet? What are you going to do? That's my Star Wars question for this week. Y'all have a great show, and as always, may the Force be with you.
And there goes the songsmith Bradley. Put me in the holiday spirit. That is what I like to hear.
Good job, sir.
Ah,
Beautiful.
super creative.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Yeah, it was very good.
Picking me up where I failed last week. Failed.
Corey, what would you say your favorite part was, Corey?
The I'm dreaming of the Last Jedi part. I think that was really well thought out. You know, it's just a good place to start.
You're right, it was a good place to start. It's a good point. Good answer.
It's a good answer. It's appropriate.
Smokey's back.
Back again.
All right. Yeah, Bradley. Thank you for that effort, sir. That really was nice. And I'm sure everybody kind of felt a little bit of holiday cheer there. Come on.
How could you not?
How could you not? Does anybody here like eggnog?
Love it.
I actually love
Okay,
eggnog.
hanging up on Carlos
Negative.
and James. Goodbye, guys.
What?
There's nothing like eggnog with a slice of Hawaiian pizza, Kyle.
Oh. you
We've
lost
just
me there.
renamed this episode The Dry Heave. Oh, God.
I like eggnog, but I like it hot. Like no, I don't mean warmed up. I mean with alcohol inside.
Yeah, rum.
Yeah,
Rum.
I like it either with some rum or amaretto or pretty much whatever I have in the fridge. Baileys. I like mixing with Baileys.
Some lemonade.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
Carlos Frangelico.
Well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't drink it anymore though. There's way too much sugar, and I usually buy it, and I haven't bought it this year because I'm trying to be, alive. Trying.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, really our plans haven't changed, right? We're going to meet up this Thursday at a local restaurant. We're going to have a nice meal. At least you guys will. I'll be late. But we're 8 people.
Yeah, we're 8 people. And this has been the tradition, Bradley, since 2015. We haven't been 8, but like I say, James, myself, and Kyle were there in 2015, excuse me. Then Carlos was with us last year in 2016. And yeah, we're doing it again. The same restaurant, same place, same time, same bat channel. I'm stoked about it, man. The one thing that's missing right now is that I don't know if you weren't listening then, Bradley, and I don't know if you've gone back on past pods, but we had quite a serious bet going on and that's something that's missing this year.
Kyle,
for
aren't
me
we a
bit.
little short on time? Should we be moving on?
Well, I'm not going to brag who won or whatever, but either way, I am missing out on that aspect of it. Like, it kind of added to everything in a way.
You guys still have time to make
really
a bet.
fun. You still have time to make a bet. What's up?
Corey, I bet you can't read 2 books before the movie comes out.
I agree.
No, he'll loophole you and say a book is a book, even if it's 3 pages long.
Yeah, there's something in there for him.
Yeah, he's a squirrel.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We should come up with something though. Honestly,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I have enough to do. You can figure a bet out.
but I want you to lose. Your X-wing Luke, that is.
I'm never giving it up.
Never gonna let you down. Oh, sorry.
Exactly. You're never gonna let me down, Kyle. I believe in you, man.
I don't. See, that's the thing, and that's why you're never getting it.
I just don't believe that. Like, I think you're gonna do the right thing one day.
The right thing is where it's nice and safely ensconced on my shelf with its other 40th anniversary brethren.
It's not true, Snoke.
You're not helping yourself.
I think it's cool that we're all 4 of us are on this pod, and when this question comes up, because we're all going to be together to see the movie, and I think it's a cool tradition that we started by pretty much happenstance, I guess. And yeah, I mean,
I hope it never ends. Honestly, I really want you guys to know that. Like, to one of us goes, man, or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Like, we know Star Wars is going for a long time, man.
okay,
So
throw in a
have
mystical.
plenty of this to
Corey.
come.
Throw in a mystical and a campfire, and we're there.
Oh, well, if one of us goes, then I mean the chances are pretty high it could be me
The
first.
mystical campfire
Like,
boat.
I'll be with you. I'll be with you guys in Force Ghost style. Like, that's
Corey,
the
you should
loophole.
call your boat the Mystical Campfire.
Yeah, that'll go over
Hey,
well.
there's another episode title. Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. But I have no idea what. I've been laughing too much. I don't know anything about what Corey just said.
Either way, another kind of tradition that Bradley was asking about in his message. I've actually managed to watch, as of Canadian Thanksgiving, I think it was around October 10th, something like that this year. Anyhow, I had taken not days off from work, but I worked from home for about 3 days, and yeah, it was all prequel trilogy all the time. So I solidified that. I managed to also watch the original trilogy, and then last evening with my dad, I stayed up with my dad till 2 a.m.
I saw that.
and we watched the Force Awakens, which was really awesome.
I think that seems to be everybody's go-to. Like, we watched it last night here at home. I was trying to like triple fist my priorities here. I was trying to do TFA and the hockey game and the red carpet premiere, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out so well. So
The hockey game certainly didn't.
that definitely didn't.
Ugh.
It definitely did not work out so well. That one became the easiest one to kind of bail out of, and then the red carpet premiere there's too much going on to really pay attention to it. So I focused on TFA, the show at hand, and so yeah, that
You chose wisely.
I got that. I scratched that itch, and then after that, once the kids were in bed, I played a little bit of Battlefront 2. So that's probably been that's going to be my Star Wars tune-up. Anybody else had any ritual, any plans to anything Star Wars related between now and Thursday?
Well,
I just try to avoid talking to Corey at all costs because that guy is the worst.
Hey, man, I know nothing.
We know that, but we're talking about Star Wars, buddy.
I'm definitely talking about that, but like, no, honestly,
man.
I've gone kind of dark, man. Like, I've really, really tried to avoid stuff this week as best I could. I saw one thing, like I said at the beginning of the show, that really upset me, and then it triggered me to really go like full reset. Like, I can do this. Like, you know, mute a whole bunch of stuff on your Twitter feed, and that's about it, man. Like, I'm not big on spoiling stuff, and I don't want to know any spoilers, man. I'm so excited to see what's going on here, man. Like, I would never spoil any of that for anyone.
What I took away from that is you didn't see Tropic Thunder because you said you went full reset, and you're never supposed to go full reset.
Oh my god.
I love
I'm getting all
rubber duck.
wheezy here.
Well, for
Okay,
me,
I guess that
mean,
about covers it, right?
Well, I was just gonna say that. I mean, as far as getting hyped up and like leading up to the showing, Kyle, you got the tickets. James, you made the reservation. I pretty much had nothing to do but show up. So all I did was I checked the weather, and of course it's gonna be the coldest day of the year again.
Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the
course.
pod.
So
And presents, Carlos.
what do you mean presents?
What?
Do I have to bring something?
He's saying you have to be there. Your presence is
Oh,
required.
what a douche. All right, so I guess I have to bring presents. Ass.
Or B&E, Kyle's place, X-Wing Luke.
Corey,
I got the schematics.
offline, buddy, offline.
This just in, X-Wing Luke being transferred to bank safety deposit box. You see what you forced me to do. Okay, Bradley, I think that about covers it. I've got no other plans, really. I'll be too busy between now and Thursday with a lot of podcast-related stuff to really watch any more movies or do anything else Star Wars related. So that's it. I'm just going to be counting down the hours until TLJ.
Nice to hear from you, Bradley. I'm going to watch The Force Awakens tonight after we podcast, by the way, boys. That'll be my last go.
I found it's aged pretty well. I mean, it's 2 years old, so I mean, it's still a baby, but it's always a question that's on my mind. How is that movie going to age in the years to come? We all know A New Hope is an all-time classic. What is TFA going to do, considering how much DNA it shares with A New Hope? 2 years in, it holds up pretty well for me.
It really did for me last night. And even last night, I don't think I'd seen it in maybe like 5 months or so. And man, there was a lot of stuff to be taken out of that, man. Like, I was like, wow. Like, right off the hop, Lord Santeca, there can be no balance without the Jedi. And then you got Luke saying, the Jedi need to end or whatever, So it's like...
Yeah, we talked about that when that trailer first dropped, saying, well, somebody's wrong. Who is it? Is it Lord Santeca's faith that is wrong, misplaced, or is it Luke who has gone completely cuckoo?
Cuckoo.
Yeah, it's Luke. It's Luke.
Spoiler alert, he has a beard in this movie.
Who? Lord Santeca's back?
All right, Bradley. I know Bradley's got, I think, a big contingent going with him as well. But let us know how it goes. And now we move on to James Weibel, who we hear often on TSW, who has jumped over into our back catalog and has been binging a bunch of our older shows. And he's been feeding me feedback via email. So James, thank you for that. Thank you for all the time that you've spent listening to us dopes prattle on about Star Wars. Much appreciated. And James comes equipped with a question. It is Rebels related. He says, hey fellas, this is James Weibel, frequent commenter on TSW. I've been listening to back episodes of your podcast, and in episode 91, Po' Boy, you were talking about the trailer for season 4 of Rebels. In that, you mentioned the Loth chant, and I had a flash to the episode where the Loth wolves transported them across Lothal. So my question is, could the Loth wolves help Ezra rescue Ahsoka? So, Corey, I'll kick this over to you first. What do you want to say about that?
Wow, it's such an interesting question. Like, it's very possible. It kind of seems a bit unlikely to me that would be the case. But it is possible. But I really firmly believe that it's some kind of like... I think Ahsoka's going to be involved. Like the Topps cards to me and the way Twilight of the Apprentice ended, the Topps cards that Dave Filoni drew with the wolves, it's all going to be somehow connected, but I could see Ahsoka being involved, but not... Like, I see her more rescuing or saving Ezra. Like, there's something going on, Lothal, and the cave paintings, all that stuff, they really look like constellations to me. In the Topps cards, it looks like Ahsoka possibly went into one of these things, maybe, you know, like maybe she's like this nomadic traveler within these astral planes, or she's lost in time or something like that. I don't know, but I know, I feel like she's really going to come back into play. I don't think that Ezra saves her. I think Ezra's main purpose here is Lothal. That seems to be the ongoing theme of this season. The Empire's doing something on Lothal, manufacturing things. I think that's going to be a main premise, but there's also something more that they've talked about. There's something beyond the scenes. There's something more going on Lothal. And these Loth wolves, the fact that they're able to travel in these astral planes, like, I'm going to use the word mystical, but it was pretty much one of the most favorite things I've ever actually seen in all of Star Wars movies, like anything. Them walking and those wolves taking step by step and everyone holding hands and crossing that thing was just so amazing to me. Like, it led to so many possibilities. But again, just touching back on Filoni, there's something with Ahsoka and the wolves. I don't think that Ahsoka's bound to be saved. I think that she's going to be kind of like a bit of a Bendu in a way, like something that they can refer to, someone that they know they can, who it is in the long run. Like, oh my God, like that was Ahsoka in a way. Like, but I think Ahsoka's kind of, I don't know, she's more one with the Force and just part of this, the grander picture. She's lost in this thing in a way. I don't know. I don't see her coming back into physical form. Like, hey, I'm Ahsoka, I'm back. Like, I really see her playing in the part as like that mystical figure, being like talking to them from beyond wherever she is. The cave paintings, man, like they all look like constellations and these wormholes. It all kind of makes sense to me. Like that, it's all linked together somehow. I just can't exactly tie it together.
Yeah, and I don't know that Filoni's going to really define it for us too. I mean, they're running out of time. We have, 6 or 7 episodes left? There's not much racetrack left to go. We're more than halfway done the season, and we have seen nothing from Ahsoka. So they're
just gonna touch upon it lightly. Really, I think it's gonna be like a wink to the audience, almost like, okay, we know Ahsoka was involved because of this. It's not gonna be like a face to face, like Ezra. Oh, there's Ahsoka. Let's save her. Like, I think we're gonna know that somehow she was involved for the greater good. And
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Like, there's something more ambiguous about it all. Like, we won't get the answers we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to James's question, yes, it's possible that Ezra could somehow escape or save Ahsoka with the wolves. I'm not going to shut that down, but I tend to agree with you that if anyone does any saving, Ahsoka will somehow use some sort of trick, whether it's Force related or not, to bail out our heroes. But I think the big question here is whether or not the Loth Wolves open and control the portals themselves, or do they just know how to find and navigate them? And
yeah, I think that's more the case.
James had sent me another email today. We spoke about this in Bridger Transmissions number 5 about how the portals could be like Force spiderwebs kind of spanning the galaxy, and the wolves are the ones that travel them. But if any of that's even lukewarm close, and if the wolves do have some sort of dominion or control of these pathways, I guess they're not confined to Lothal, right? So when you look at that Topps card,
no, that's it.
That Filoni sketch, and it looks like a Ahsoka going into some like circle that is ringed by wolves. To me, we're getting pretty close to the truth here, that she did enter one of these portals and was transported off Malachor somewhere else. Where is that? Does everything lead to Lothal? Seems to be one of the themes of the show, where everything leads back to Lothal. So is she there in some form? I don't know. And
I almost wish it would be the wolf at this point, just because the blue that's on the wolf is Ahsoka blue, but Filoni clearly stated it's not the wolf. But strong relation to Princess Mononoke, where like you see this Ahsoka-like character standing beside these giant god these wolves in that movie are gods. they are gods, and like there's this one princess that's able to be with them, like communicate with them, and they do her will, kind of,
Yeah. Well, look, on Malachor, we saw a convor as well, right? How did it get there? It's a dead planet. There's nothing doing on Malachor. Did the convor follow Ahsoka there through some kind of portal? It seems to be, in a way, kind of Ahsoka's little spirit animal, right? Or at least we've made that association between Ahsoka and the convors, right?
We know there's something going on there, and that leads back to, oh my god, what am I? That Clone Wars episode with the Mortis trilogy. So it has something more to do with the sister to me still somehow. Like, she breathed the life into her. Like, everything's connected in that regard. Like, the colors, the color palette they chose, it's not coincidental.
Yeah, it's hard to think that's a coincidence. That is for sure. I don't know. It seems like these pathways. It seems like the wolves are very much, at the minimum, either the guardians or custodians of these pathways. And
all paths are coming together.
I would not be shocked if somehow they were able to, these wolves, open a pathway for Ahsoka on Malachor and took her off that planet. Because otherwise, I mean, let's face it, let's get practical here for a second. She would die there. There's no supermarket there for her to get food. There's not really any suitable accommodations there. She has to get off somehow.
Maul lived there.
He's Maul. He lives on hate.
Well, either way, I know what you mean, but definitely I think Ahsoka's become something different, and she's living on it. Like again, picture it like on her living, like she's that nomadic traveler on this astral plane where she's like pretty much almost become essentially an all-knowing being, and she can't come back into the real world per se, but like somehow she's gonna help them, and she's somehow associated with these wolves.
I don't know.
Something about it.
I don't know how complicated this can get, but like if these things are just sort of like tubes, right, that connect you from one place to another. Like our heroes came out of that pathway just fine on the other side of Lothal.
Yeah, but the wolves walk through walls and disappear.
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about the wolves. I'm talking about our heroes. Like, if they opened up a door for Ahsoka, unless she was already dead, like, she could have just walked right through.
That's it. I see Ahsoka being more that kind of, like, look at them as Ahsoka, not a wolf, because we know she's not a wolf, but she can be, like, the kind of thing that can walk through that wall now with the wolves.
Maybe, but I feel like if they open up a pathway for her, right after Twilight of the Apprentice, then I have to imagine she's not dead, and she still is walking around out there. But I don't know. It's one of the big mysteries, and I just don't know how much time we have to address it. But James, Carlos, do you have anything to say, or you follow Rebels through us, right, on Bridger transmissions?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the I don't see how they can finish off with Ahsoka. I don't know if they're going to. They might just leave it open ended, and maybe come back with an animated movie or something along those lines. Because, like you said, there's only 6 or 7 episodes left, and like from what I've been hearing, there's so many things that are still open.
Yeah, we're due to get a trailer for Rebels, the second half of season 4. That's probably going to come in the next 2 weeks, I would say. Maybe just after the new year.
And that's going to be so intense.
That's coming real soon. I would say maybe the first week of January, we might get that. So maybe that'll be our first little hint at maybe what's coming for Ahsoka, but it's not going to dominate. It's not going to be a huge storyline, I don't think. It might occupy one episode,
we know
like Twin Sons did for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. I see it like that. Like toward the end of the season, it's like it's her for some reason. Like it's people who have been paying attention will realize like it's her. Like even the characters will probably give a nod to, but for some reason, even though like Ezra's the son of Lothal, for some reason they seem to be after Kanan. And our friend M on the Bridger transmission, she postulated that Kanan could possibly be from Lothal as well.
Sure. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna get into this as far as we can in the coming weeks once they hit us with that trailer, and I'm sure we'll have M back at that time as well. But James, thank you, sir. It was really, really great to hear from you and to go back and forth with you on email this week. And again, thanks for binging our back catalog. Let me know once you've caught up. That's quite the undertaking. And lastly,
and I apologize.
For what?
All of it.
All of it, yeah.
All of it.
Just to make that clear.
So much bigger.
All right, Jeffrey's back. One more Jiving with Jeffrey before The Last Jedi. Another Seinfeld Star Wars mashup. So what has Jeffrey got for us this week? Let's have a quick listen.
Hey, Kyle and Corey, it's Jeff from the Canto Cast, here with another Seinfeld Star Wars mashup question. Okay, I'm pretty sure I did not ask this one before, but we have Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer, the core four, the Fab Four of the Seinfeld universe. Who would your core four, Fab Four Star Wars characters be in the Star Wars universe? Who could you see running around causing mayhem and all the kind of crap that Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer do? The only catch is you cannot use Luke, Han, Leia, or Chewbacca. But any other characters from the Star Wars universe, who would your Fab Four in the Star Wars universe be? Can't wait to hear your answers, and talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Carlos, you're new to this game. I don't know how far you've got along. Do you have anything you want to throw in there? Who's your core Star Wars characters from this, or your core Seinfeld characters using Star Wars characters, but not Luke, Han, Leia, or Chewie?
Not only not Star Wars characters, only OT.
Only OT characters.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, well, like when you think about it, you think, okay, R2D2 is George, like he's short and stubby, and you have 3PO there, and 3PO's like he's kind of dainty and he's a little squirrely, and if you've seen him hustle, kind of looks like the way Jerry would run. So
that's great, man.
Their best friends is Jerry and George. And I'm still working on my other, because I just heard the question, right? So it's like I'm trying to think now as like who could be Kramer if you can't use Chewie. So it's tough. It's tough. Who's like so flaky that you could actually
come on. He's not tall enough, but OT Yoda is the kookiest, weirdest. Like when you first meet him, he's Kramer. It's not perfect, but that's the kookiest character from that OT.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I like that, guys. This is what
I'm gonna
we
jump.
need.
I had to build on that because I agreed. He took my George and Jerry, so I had to add mine in because we're basically going to give the same answer, so I won't have to give mine after.
That's
and
terrific.
So if we got those three, Carlos, who's your last then? Who do you have for?
See, my Elaine, we come to the problem where everything is so male centric in the OT, just as it was kind of in Seinfeld. Like before you get to like some of the supporting characters like Susan and Dolores and some of the other. But as far as in the Star Wars universe, I don't see Mon Mothma's way too organized and cool and calm and collected to play Elaine. So I'd have to pick a.
Are you saying?
Exactly.
Are you saying she has too much grace?
Yes, yes. And if anybody's ever watched Seinfeld and seen Elaine dance, she could never play Mon Mothma. So I'd have to go with a guy, and who's like jerky. Who's like Jar Jar? No, but he's not in the OT. So I don't know. I think it's really, really tough. It's really tough to put a nip on Elaine. What do you guys think?
James, are you going to round it out there?
There's no good answer for Elaine. I'll just agree with him. There's not enough female characters to give like a legit answer. And even to be fair, Leia is only a good answer because she's a girl. Like there's nothing.
No, I see a lot of the feistiness and the both of them being very similar. No, and physical attributes as well.
What, short? Brown hair?
Yeah, brown eyes.
White? I guess.
Yeah, angular features, short. Pretty much.
I
nailed
don't
it,
think
guys.
so.
I don't think you can describe Leia as having angular features.
No, not
She's
at all.
a very round and
No.
cherubish face
Oh,
in the
yeah.
OT.
Yeah.
And the confidence
True.
that Leia has is a different kind of confidence. Elaine peacocks, whereas I think
I
Leia's
think,
legit.
Yeah.
I think Elaine, she's confident at points, but she's also she like cowers under stuff as well at points in her career, which is kind of odd because it like
No, there's
goes up and down. She's not as confident.
personality-wise, there is no match between Leia and Elaine. None.
Well, let's just get to it then, Jeff.
So-
Kyle said he was going to shoot me down at the beginning of the episode. Before the show, we were talking.
Oh, there's a loophole. Because I know you're reaching for it.
Kyle's like, I had to ask you, Jeffrey, if I could use a loophole. So he asked you about it. So I'm just going out there.
No.
and
No, we're going to introduce
Yeah.
the loophole just so you understand first. You're not getting your shit out there before you get the loophole slammer dropped on you.
Well, that's the point of the loophole.
See, because you're going to go, well, I'm going to pull from the OT, but I'm going to pull OT era. So I'm going to go...
I almost said that too, because Chopper makes a good George.
Because I'm going to go pull... Rebels and Rogue One are also OT, so I'm going to pull Tara or Jin as my Elaine. No, you are not doing that.
It was Hera.
Absurd,
So it was
absurd loopholing. No, you...
Anyway, James, Carlos?
No, it's
Tara.
not.
It's not. No, it's not. It's a violation of the spirit of the question. Rejected answer.
I sounded like a moron trying to answer that question properly, and you have to go. Oh yeah,
Hera
here's
doesn't
Hera.
have the. Hera's not in the OT, buddy.
Hera's not in the OT.
She's in
That's
Rogue
not the
One.
OT.
Era.
That's not That's not Jeffrey's question. Sorry.
Oh, we settled that one.
think we
That's
just
3-1. What
that-
about you, Kyle?
That's fine. Yeah, go for it.
See, okay. I put Lando in the George role.
Okay.
I don't.
No, we want to hear your
Oh, I'll
Leia.
get to it.
We're
I
on
will
Leia
get to
here.
it.
No. Well, that's what we're talking about right now.
This is called building. I'm building to my Leia with loopholes, with
Lame.
an acceptable loophole.
We were talking about loopholes.
Biggs, that turkey is my Kramer,
Nice.
and that being the case, Wedge is my Jerry.
Wedge is my Jerry.
There you go.
He's the even Steven. He makes it through all three films.
That's actually quite good.
I like that payoff. The even Steven. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So okay, for the female presence. So really, you got nothing. You got Mon Mothma. Maybe you can go with Ula. Corey, you can go with Ula. Another green Twi'lek, right? There you
Really? Let's.
go.
Yeah.
That's not my.
Let's
That's
just
not
throw
my
it to-
choice.
That's what would happen to Elaine though in that situation. She'd get thrown.
Oh,
out
And
the
absolutely.
they're
rank.
both terrible dancers. So
Very good.
Two
yeah.
acceptable
I like that.
loopholes. Had you chosen to take it. So, Nora Wexley and Iden Versio are both in the OT. Did you know that?
no.
Yeah. In
No.
the OT
Nope.
era.
They are both in Return of the Jedi. Actually, no. Iden Versio, it's not official, but for Matt Martin, it's his headcanon. And, being a story group guy, if it's his headcanon, it's my headcanon.
It's not official. Uh-huh.
She's a TIE fighter pilot during Battle of Yavin. And you can actually verify which pilot she is if you cross-reference Inferno Squadron with A New Hope. You actually see her on screen.
Well, if you think about that, in Forces of Destiny, Hera was at the Battle of Endor.
But you don't see her.
You see her in the cartoon.
Is that one of the 3 movies that we're talking about?
Well, it was the Battle of Endor, so yeah.
No. Do you see Hera in Jedi, Empire, or A New Hope? You're drowning. You're drowning. Your loophole doesn't work.
Your loophole is that some guy that's a part of the story group says he thinks that's the case.
but we know she's at Battle of Yavin, and she shoots down Red 4. You can go back into No Hope and find out who shoots down Red 4.
We know who's the Hera's at the Battle of Endor.
Guys, you guys hear me, right?
Look, this is what I'll say. I'll say to Corey. Corey, I'm going to quote an Oscar-winning movie. Okay, as Kate Winslet lets go of Leonardo DiCaprio's hand as he sinks to the bottom of the frigid Atlantic. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go.
Exactly.
What a liar.
Seriously, eh?
Oh man! And also, Nora Wexley is in a Y-wing. In the Y-wing that follows Lando into the trench, or into the Death Star core. So you don't see her either, but you see her ship. But I'm going with I'm going with Iden Versio.
I'd go. Yeah, that's a loophole that I don't count it.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Anyway, we got Jerry and Wedge. We agreed. I put George as Porkins.
Yeah. Porkin and Biggs should have been my Kramer and George.
My Kramer was, I don't know, I kept picturing someone laughing. And so I put, my first one was Reese, and my second one was Nia Num. I'm going to stick with Nia Num.
Fair.
He's a lucky guy. Kramer just falls ass backwards into everything. And I think Nia Num is just a happy-go-lucky guy like that.
Yeah, he seems to just keep failing up. Well, I don't say failing upward. That's not fair. That's not fair to the integrity of Nia Num. But anyway, Jeffrey, there you go. Let's hear your core 4. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, seriously, that was a really hard question, especially
I knew it though. I knew Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I told you he would try to loophole the Leia. And I knew that who was it? Was it Jin or you said Hera, right? I knew you were going to go for that. I knew you were going to try and loophole the Hera thing.
You know why? Hera makes sense because I could see Hera pushing someone saying, "Get out."
Wait a sec. In the special editions, don't they show Naboo? And don't you see Jar Jar at one point, or some of those Gungans?
You see Gungans, yeah.
Okay, so in theory, he could have been in Return of the Jedi.
In theory. In theory. I think you do hear a voice as well. I think Wisa free, and it sounds very much Jar Jar.
Huh.
Something to think about.
Yeah, because he's clumsy, and she, I don't know. It just sucks that George didn't put more female characters in his original trilogy.
It's so true, because honestly, I'm going to touch back on what Carlos said. I Googled the answer. I was like, oh my god, I'm coming up with nothing here. It's Mon Mothma or who? OT. And the first things, every time you Google the female characters original trilogy, it's just there are none. It's what it says. There's Leia's. Without Leia, there's probably not even 30 seconds to a minute of dialogue, which is sad.
Hey, Corey.
So I'm so glad.
The Lord of the Rings has you beat again. There are 0 female characters in The Hobbit. 0. None.
Yeah, but in the book, it's that way as well. No.
What else would I be talking about?
That's okay though. For that story, it makes sense.
For no women to exist?
Not to exist, but the tale that they undertake.
They only mentioned 2 women. They mentioned someone's mother, Belladonna Took, and they mentioned someone else. Man. They mentioned 2 women. It's crazy.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not pertinent in that story.
It's pretty weak.
It's definitely a sign of the times, right?
They're in the mountains, trying to survive.
What?
All right, we're off topic. Sorry.
Well, we've been off topic, I think, all night.
It's not Shawshank. Where there can't be any female characters in that prison. Oh, chauvinistic schmokey.
Oh, goodness.
Come on, man. It was a different time.
Goodness gracious.
Little dwarves, mountains.
God. Okay. Okay. So we said we would do this at the end of the show. So anybody who's sensitive to any further The Last Jedi speculation, maybe now you want to bail out. We thank you for listening, but it's maybe time to unplug. Otherwise, what we're going to do is just throw out a last-minute prediction. We're not going to go deep delving into it because, here's why I think it. We're going to throw something out there and see if it sticks on Thursday. Corey, you've been chomping at the bit here. I'll let you go first. What final prediction do you have for The Last Jedi?
I don't know if you guys are going to think it's that serious or whatever, but it's weird because I haven't heard anyone talking about it. And then it just kind of popped in my head last week, and I was like, this is kind of heavy. So what if this were to happen toward the end of the film? We know Rey, Kylo, and Snoke, they're going to have a role in this film together at one point. And I'm thinking more about Kylo, but it could go... Well, according to the trailers, yeah. Like, Rey's right in front of Kylo, of Snoke. And we can assume that we know that Kylo's in the same room. We know it. Yes, through images.
We don't know for sure. I don't think there's a picture that shows them definitively standing in the same room.
There's not.
No, but I come on, guys. I think from
yeah, let's not play stupid here.
from the TV trailers. I mean, I think we could speculate that.
I feel like I got called black by a pot.
Either way, I think at the end of this film, it's about Rey and Kylo. There's a couple of possibilities that are they going to walk off into the sunset together to figure this out for themselves. Movie? Yes. Like, that's how it ends. Like, them two together, figuring it out for themselves. Or, there's the climactic moment, but it's either, I see it more being Kylo. Kylo has turned back to the light. He's made his decision, kind of like, I know what I've done is wrong, and it's a sacrificial thing on his part where he becomes the Han of this trilogy, where we left Kylo behind. We know there's good left in Kylo. We have to go back for Kylo in 9 because he saved us all. Like, we got to go back for Kylo now because Snoke has him. He sacrificed himself, and like, it might not be carbonite, whatever it is, but he did something that was that just gives him so much pain, and like, he suffered for them, like, he knew what he was doing, and he was like leave now, go, like, I'm doing this for you, you gotta go now. And it could go the other way, a third way as well.
Look at this guy, he's gobbling up all the theories.
It's Rey going that way, and Kylo ends up with Luke, all damaged goods. Like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, something happened to my mom. I killed my father. I killed the Order. Snoke used me. I'm sorry. And now Rey is with Snoke, and I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I ought to cover
it. Whatever it is. It worked for Vader.
No, he didn't say he was sorry. He killed the Emperor. That's what...
Well, I think Kylo's going to prove his point in this film. He's going to do his best, and it can either go him, like, coming back to Luke and being like, I tried to save her, I really did, and Rey's gone with Snoke. Or it's Kylo who saved everyone, and he goes with Snoke.
So pick one. You got to pick one.
Maybe
you squirrel, pick one.
Either way, I just want to say that's the Empire rehash in a way. That the way they went back for Han in Return of the Jedi, it's that someone that in this film that's Force sensitive gets left
pick
behind.
One.
And
Corey, by the way,
I'll say Kylo. I think Kylo's gonna go out there, and I think it makes sense for Leia's character as well moving forward. Whatever happens to her, we don't know, but for her son to say, like, I'm doing this for that, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I just want to make clear that Han didn't sacrifice himself in Empire. Like, he had no choice. There was no There was no decision there.
He could have. He made the right choice. He could have kicked up his stink and killed them all, but he just like patience.
What? He couldn't have done anything.
Like,
There
he
was
looked
nothing
at
for Han to do.
Exactly, but he still could have
There's
done
nothing he could have done.
He still could have
Well,
gotten.
the only
He
thing
could have gotten themselves
the
all
only
killed.
thing he really did was tell Chewie to calm down and take care of the princess. That's the only thing he did.
Exactly, which was important.
Yeah, but that's not really sacrificing. But anyways,
Not sacrificing, but like, like laying, like being patient, like seeing the grander picture. Man, it's the first time you ever see Han Solo do that.
well, no, he comes back at the end of New Hope when he was home and free.
Yeah, but it's really
Oh
the first
my
time
God.
you really see him like.
We've gone
Anyway,
way,
whatever.
way off the rails. Anyway, Carlos, anything you want to predict for The Last Jedi?
Actually, I don't. I don't know what to expect. I've come back around on some of the potential spoilers that I've seen, and I don't believe them. There's something about it that's not. There's something about the potential spoilers that I've heard that I'm not buying into them. So I'm just gonna go in without any set knowledge.
That's it, man. Like the spoilers that I thought I saw or heard, like I honestly like convinced my mind not to consider them like whatever. Like I have to take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Like, but I do think whatever's going on here pertains to Rey and Kylo in the long run. Like it's up to them.
Well, it kind of has
I
to
don't
be
know
that.
what episode we have to go back to, but yeah, I've been saying this since the very beginning. These two have to be their story has to be intertwined in a way that's super compelling. So we have to find out that they're genetic twins or brother and sister. We have to.
No,
we have
I
to.
just see like Kylo's rejecting Snoke's thing, and Rey's kind of not enthralled with Luke's teachings. So they're like, once they come to the realization together, like, hey, it's not them, it's us that are gonna figure this out.
Oh yeah. I didn't want to get off into a whole new tangent, but yes, I think that there's a possibility. I think it'd be cool if it was like if it wound up being like the kids against Rey or Luke and Snoke.
Oh man. Well, look, we saw in these early reviews, the big twist seems like it's a complete out of left field thing.
That's what just made me say that just now, Kyle. When I was thinking like, what's the big twist? I'm like, wow, imagine it was like those, the split, the divide, the battle became between like Luke and Snoke have to team up, and Rey and Kylo are like a force to be reckoned with.
That's it. They get it out of
What
control.
if it's something as simple as Kylo dies?
No, he's not dying in this
No,
film.
what I think is that
I think he has the carbonite moment, man. He's the one that's taken away. Like, Kylo's turned good. We got to go back for him. Oh my God.
no, I think the turning point is Rey is able to escape Snoke, and she returns to save Kylo Ren from Snoke's wrath. I think
That can happen
I think
too.
That's
that can happen
where
too.
people are like, "Holy crap!" Like she went back for him.
But it seems like we get that "I am your father" moment so far. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get it. Like we've hoped for it. Like we're still. Fandom has speculated, postulated all this time, and it's like these critics were all like, "Yeah, like they still managed to give you the left hook."
No, but
Oh, there it is.
no, I don't know. I mean, I am your father moment. If they would have repeated that somehow, then how credible is the reviews saying that this is original and like it's unexpected.
Well, no, I'm just saying like the same amount of shock.
Okay, and if it's in that sense, yeah, I guess, but.
And it could have to do with Luke, right? It could be we find out something about Luke that just revolts us.
Yeah, the Luke, the Jedi, anything, man. It could be a lot of things.
It could be. I mean, it's I think it's not a stretch to say it's Luke, Kylo, or Rey that are at the center of this huge reveal. It's got to be one of those three. somebody die? Does we find out somebody is changing allegiances or was on the other side the whole time? It's whatever it is. It doesn't sound like any of us have picked up on it yet.
And whatever it is, we're gonna love it, and it's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Just a few more days.
Calamari and burgers, baby.
All right. Anybody else want to throw something else at the wall before we say goodbye?
Chopper makes an appearance in the movie. There you go, Corey. There's a good prediction for you.
Love you for that.
You're welcome.
It's 26 Rat Rod.
All right. That's it, everybody. Geez, almost 2.5 hours of pre The Last Jedi Star Wars talk. And I don't think I
blame
think we did
Carlos.
okay.
Same length as the
I mean,
movie.
we went way off the rails, but I don't think we did anything that would offend someone who's trying to steer clear. There you go, guys. High fives all around. Ads, Bradley, James, Jeffrey, as always, guys. Much appreciated on the input and the questions. Can't wait to hear from you guys next week. So, like I said off the top of the show, send us your voice clips, your initial reactions to The Last Jedi. Let us know what you think. We'll get those in the show, and we'll have a huge The Last Jedi party. What else we got? Powerful Friends this week. Journals of the Willing. We've got some cool stuff to talk about this week. And I think following that, next week's going to be our Sithmas special, whatever that will entail. And that's it. We got our Secret Santa that we're doing on the show soon. And guys, what else do I need to mention? I feel like there's more stuff to talk about.
Commonwealth.
There's a movie coming out.
There's a movie coming. Yes, and the Star Wars Commonwealth, of course. Get all your pre The Last Jedi game action in at StarWarsCommonwealth.com. Who are our friends there, guys? Let's go around the table.
Talk Star Wars, Generation X-Wing, Rogue Squadron Podcasts.
Look at Carlos killing it.
Skyhoppers, The Nerd Room, San Diego.
Ball hog.
Wow.
Yeah, what a weirdo.
Look at Carlos
Not
knocking
cool,
it
man.
out. Nice job.
The Nerd Room?
I said
say
The
The
Nerd
Nerd
Room.
He said it was off the rim. San Diego
I
Sabres.
said that. You cut me off.
You cut everybody off,
Boom.
Carlos.
I cut you off with that on that loophole. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, whatever.
I knew it too. I
Who's
still
your Leia again?
can't get over that. Like you went right for it too.
Who's your loophole? Who's your Leia?
I went. What did I say with I?
You mean Elaine?
Yeah, who was my lane? I went with Versio.
Yeah, Versio, the someone else's headcanon thingy.
No, she's there. It's she's there. You can find her.
Hera's got her own cartoon on Endor.
He still doesn't understand the question. He still doesn't understand it.
OT.
Man, isn't it true though, guys? When he gets married to an idea, it's
Oh my god.
not even George Lucas himself could move him off it.
Back off.
We have the Facebook thread to prove it.
Oh man, yeah. Oh boy, was that something? Okay, everybody. That
Metachlorians exist, people. I swear to God.
We never... Oh, my God.
one day we should just like pull up that thread and just like act it out. Okay, guys, that's it. Boy, I hope somebody enjoyed this episode. My goodness.
I did.
So did I.
Yeah, well, thank you for jumping in, Carlos. We added some spice to the show today.
Muy caliente.
Sugar and spice and everything nice.
That's it, guys. The next time we talk, we are going to be on the other side of The Last Jedi. We'll be free to talk about whatever we want. And until then, we'll see you on Powerful Friends Friday. If everybody else wants to get in on that Powerful Friends Friday stuff, just go to patreon.com/tumblingsaber. Won't talk about that much this week. We've been here long enough. And that's it. So have yourselves a good one. Enjoy The Last Jedi. Let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you guys later.
And please enjoy my song.
Self-redeeming quality watching, listening, every moment, wanting all of you. And I believe I can save you. Just don't let me go. And I can see I'll be waiting, always waiting. Just don't let me go. Just don't let me go. Time goes on and I'm questioning all the things I've seen, crazy things I've seen as I'm watching you. I'm watching you walking away from me. Were you watching